on the street chasing wrong from right. Eyes like fire burning through the haze. Truth is a weapon, cuts through the maze. Some call her trouble, some call her brave. Digging up secrets they tried to save. A real deal around town. She's breaking it down, spinning the wheel, exposing the sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her cry. Shadows, they curse her name. Afraid of the spotlight she brings to the game. But the grateful ones, they cheer in the dark for the spark she ignites in their weary hearts. Some call her danger, some call her hope. She's the thin line on the tightrope. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The truth's her crown, yeah.
Okay, hi everybody. Wow, I've had a crazy day. We are live. I'm here by myself, but that's okay. I'm trying to remove everything. I'm going to be going live with the select board meeting, I think. If I've got this straight, I've been trying to figure this out for over a year now, and I think it's just my own inability to read. I'm a really good reader, but I didn't read something properly. And apparently recording or live streaming select board meetings is really easy, and I just was not up to the task. I couldn't figure it out, and I think I've got it now. Let me see what they're up to. Nothing's happening yet. They're going to be live in about 2 minutes, so that gives me a couple minutes to figure this out. So why don't I do that? I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring up the screen and see what happens. Oh, let me put my logo up there. There you go. Now we're official. My logo is up in the corner. And let's see. I'm going to put my comment button so I can see what people are saying. Although don't distract me. Although we'll be watching the meeting. So let me see. Let me see if this works. It should work. Select board. There it is. Ooh. You got it? Let's see.
Laura, turn the mic on, please.
There we are. We've got the meeting, people.
Okay,
Can you hear us?
This
Kim?
meeting is being recorded.
Yes, it is.
hello everyone. My name is Laura Shippen and I will call the meeting to order of the Select Board on November 19th, 2025 at 3:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Veronica Cal present. Goodrich present.
Laura Shippen present. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with
Hi,
liberty and
everybody.
justice for all.
This is my first attempt at recording.
I would like to
live.
thank all of our veterans and all of our military currently serving here and abroad. Also would like to thank all of our emergency response individuals, as well as all of our elected and appointed officials. And I would also like to thank all of our staff, all of our employees, all of the people that help to make this community run, and their families. Appreciate everything that all of you do. 1.3, announce the meeting is being recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Is there anybody else recording?
Yes, there is.
Thank you, real deal. 1.4, chairman's additions or deletions, and
How about that?
I don't think there is
Thought I was gonna-
anything.
Uncoordinated for that, but I got it.
Things. If there is, I didn't write it down. I don't remember. We'll probably come upon it. I see Irene. Are you on? Okay. If it's okay with the board, I would like to take the recycling item, which is
4.1.
4.1 out of order, as Irene has a hard stop and she'd like to give us her input on that. Is that okay with the board?
Yep.
Hearing no objection. Irene, 4.1?
Yes, thank you for having me. So now I'm back to being Townsend's Recycling Committee Chair, just got sworn in again today. Can you hear
Thank you
me?
for that.
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you and I'm thanking you for that.
Okay.
I hope she takes her conflicts of interest training.
Townsend has had a biorecycle policy for a very long time, and Mass DEP is updating. A lot of our policies are from the 90s, and so we've had updated. The requirement for the grant is we need to update our hauler regulation, our biorecycle policy, and to actually change it to a sustainable purchasing policy. And so that this includes a lot of other stuff that we have in other departments, that it comes together, such as, so the draft is the town of Townsend recognizes that procurement decisions of our employees and our contractors have significant impacts on the environment. By including environmental, public health, waste reduction considerations in our purchasing decisions, along with price, performance, and the product availability, we can remain fiscally responsible while promoting practices that minimize waste and environmental impacts. The purpose of this document is to establish the framework for sustainability-based purchasing programs in the town of Townsend. Objective of the policy includes making purchasing decisions that minimize waste by prioritizing reuse, by identifying alternative options to new and single-use products. So that would be, we are part of Devon's. Devon's has the Great Exchange, which we should be looking for them before we buy new stuff. There might be really great stuff that's available at 80% off. So that could help all of us. Number 2 is supporting recycling markets by purchasing products made from post-consumer recycled content. And 3, conserve natural resources such as energy and water by buying products that are more efficient. and minimizing environmental impacts from pollution, greenhouse gases, toxics, and hazardous products, which we've talked about before, of reducing stuff that kills our rats. I know that is so harmful. We don't want it to kill the foxes that eat the rats. So we're already doing this in a lot of ways, but to have it in one document, and that it goes to say, how do we meet these goals, is when we're doing purchasing, to look through the state's operational service division, OSD, and they have a full guide, so you can use that for purchasing. Prioritizing donation and reuse, and that we have the state surplus program as well, and adhere to federal comprehensive procurement guidelines for minimizing accepting levels of office paper and our products, and prioritizing products that will last longer, that are not just a one-time use. And so that this just commits everybody to look at these before they purchase something new. And like I said, this is just really an upgrade. We kind of had this in a different format, but then this includes more of reuse as well as toxic reduction and energy.
Thank you, Irene. Comments from the board?
This looks like a good policy to me. I think though that we need to look at the, incorporate it into our policy and get rid of the buy recycled, phase that out or rename it to a sustainable.
That's exactly what this is. This is taking the old one that you had, saying that one no longer is, you follow this one instead. You follow the new sustainable, because that encompasses buying recycled energy and water, as well as hazardous, and looking at reuse before
More cohesive.
purchasing.
Right, I
Bigger
think it's
picture.
great.
I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah.
And so I guess we just need to,
Update the policy.
and do a first reading at our next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
sounds good to me.
agreeing. Thank you, Irene, for all the
Thanks,
information. We
Irene. Yeah.
appreciate it.
This is
No
great.
problem.
Okay,
Have
this
a
will
wonderful
be,
day. I just, on a separate note, can I just say that the our recycling dividend program grant was given to the town, so that needs to be signed. And America Recycles Day was November 15th. So Townsend continues to do great things. So thank you for all your support.
you're welcome. Thank you,
Irene.
Thanks, Irene.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, so
thanks. Bye.
December.
And it replaces the current recycling policy.
For our first reading.
To replace the buy recycled
Yeah.
policy or whatever it's called. I don't know the official name.
It's called the,
Buy recycled policy.
no, it's the more.
Well, there's two policies that we have copies of here.
Yeah, I think those are,
218.
and then one is way back from 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah, so I think this just replaces the
Those
recycled
two.
product. It replaces the recycled product procurement policy
and then
from 2018,
Okay.
June.
So should we have, Sabrina just put this in our format for the town and currently, and we'll have our first reading on December 2nd.
Okay, wait a second. I'm looking at this. There's a recycled product procurement policy. Is that different?
I think this is the
Or is
policy.
that just the attachment? That's the 2000 one.
There's the 2018 version also.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
replaced the 2001.
That replaced the 2000. Okay.
So this would
okay.
replace the 2018.
All right, I'm good.
And the 2000. Just catch up. Hi, Jim. Okay, so can we go back to 1.5 regarding the minutes for November 5th, 2025? Is there a motion?
I move that we review and approve, that we approve the meeting minutes for, let me start again. I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the meeting minutes for November 5th, 2025.
Veronica Cal second.
Any discussion? I know we did that, it's already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw mine incorporated.
Yep.
Okay, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go down to 3.1. Is there a motion?
I move to appoint, sorry, you guys. Move to appoint Kim Greenow to the Community Preservation Committee effective 11/19/2025 until 6/30/2028.
Is there a second?
Veronica Cal second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you. 3.2, is there a motion?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to appoint Don Priest to the Commission on Disability effective 11/19/2025 until 6/30/2028.
Is there a second?
Veronica Cal second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, is there any discussion?
I have a concern,
Mhm.
that has to do with, things that I see as far as verbalizing things goes. I just have a concern about that as far as an appointment goes. That's all.
Thoughts?
None in this case.
Are you ready to vote?
Veronica Cal abstain.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
I'm gonna vote aye. Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you for your concerns. I understand them. 3.3,
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to appoint Jonathan Kinney to the Townsend Fire EMS Department as per diem firefighter paramedic with effective start date 12/1/2025, contingent upon successful completion of all employee requirements.
is there a second?
Veronica Cal second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you. 3.4, is there a motion?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to appoint Jason Borneman to the Townsend Fire EMS Department as per diem firefighter EMTB with effective start date 12/15/2025, contingent upon successful completion of all employee requirements.
Veronica Cal second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. 3.5, is there a motion?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to appoint Kefal Wells to the Townsend Fire EMS Department as full-time firefighter EMTB with effective start date 12/15/2025, contingent upon successful completion of all employee requirements.
Veronica Cal second.
Okay, discussion. Please note that this is to fill a vacancy.
Yep.
No additional, item to the budget. Okay, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you to all of them. I know it's a difficult,
Welcome on board.
yes, welcome. 4.2. Selena, would you like to join us? And you're here for that too? Join us.
Well, he also has cons coming. So,
It's all right, he can join us. Thank you guys for all that you do. You have the floor.
Okay, earlier last week, I think it was, I had sent a letter requesting an extension to the TESA lease. We are requesting a 50-year lease, which we understand would need to go to a town meeting in order for it to move ahead. Our reason for requesting the 50-year is I went and I looked at previous leases that the town has done through this manner. And recently there was a 50-year lease awarded for the Townsend Fire
Old Harbor and Old Central Fire Station.
to turn them into museums. So I based it on that
Oh,
50-year lease.
girl.
Nelson? Comment?
No, I don't have anything to add.
I mean, I think it makes sense if you're gonna be doing field improvements and applying for grants and.
Can I jump in there a minute? I went to the land and I am certainly agreeable with extending the lease
Yeah.
for TESA. But I went to the, State Land and Water Conservation Grant Program, which is actually a combination of state and federal, on Monday, because that has opened and it's due in January, which is a little quick for this year, but I'm thinking about in watching that and looking at the pictures of a swimming pool with a cabana that was spent, and this grant gives between I think the minimum, I can't remember. It's either 50 and 100, or it's 500 and $1 million.
Yeah, I think it's, so Groton just was awarded
Mhm.
a grant. I don't know if it's exactly that one or it was similar, and that was $1 million.
Yeah, and it's a reimbursable grant, and you have to show that you have the funds and it's a 50% grant, meaning 50% reimbursable. So if you put in for 200,000, they will reimburse 100,000. But I'm looking at the picture of the pool and the cabana that was put in some town. And I'm thinking, why are we putting the improvements on TESA? Why isn't the town working with TESA to do the improvements so that it's town property and then TESA has the 50-year lease to do the improvements as opposed to the other way? It was nothing that I ever thought about, and I was involved with the grant that they currently have, the one that's running out. And I guess my question for you guys is, what's the time frame on the improvements? When do you expect to have it? And I know the MISA permitting is huge because they're within a mile of an environmental justice community, which is
0.95 miles.
0.95. If you're within a mile, and this is of Atwood Acres, then
So
you're
it's a
permitting.
block of land that ends at Dudley and Barker Hill.
At Dudley, it's not.
It's not.
in
And
Barker Hill?
It's Dudley and
Barker
Barker
Hill.
Hill.
It's conservation
It's-
land.
Private.
Yes, it's right at the bottom of the hill. So
Oh,
the
is it
field
the
across the
piece
street.
that was transferred to the town from the land trust?
No,
So it's a
it's-
census block that
Okay.
it goes to the corner of Barker.
Oh,
and
it's a
Dudley.
census block,
It's a
so
census
it's
But it's
not
Mass
the
Wildlife
actual-
land that,
Okay.
the majority of this block is Mass Wildlife land.
Yes, that's true.
But it also encompaces
And they
part
have
of the
some.
center of town.
Part of the center of town, which is where
Atwood
and
Acres
it takes into the
Turnpike.
census from Turnpike and,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that block includes the lower Turnpike apartments. It does not include the Turnpike apartments that are 72 Turnpike.
all right.
We
So,
can't make this up.
anyway, it's become very expensive for TESA to do the work. And if there are, I know that by doing the 50-year lease, you will be able to apply for grants that are looking at things saying, you have a 3-year lease, yeah, we're not
Yeah,
investing.
Right.
Right,
Um,
of course.
And so why isn't the town doing the improvements? Was there any particular reason for that?
The previous lease stated that any improvements were on the
On
older,
but
That is-
I was involved with the writing of
that
that
is
lease,
the
which
why.
followed the lease prior.
Yeah. That is the why that we,
and I think even before that, the
Taking it
original lease called for that as well.
It did.
Yeah.
Because we based what we wrote, 4 years ago or 3 years ago on that.
To backtrack to answer your question though, time frame, we have hired a environmental consultant for the visa and the filing.
Okay,
So we have agreed or signed a contract to, continue with the permitting process. What was the time frame on that?
so, we've contacted, MISA or MIPA, or Natural.
Well, it's all three of them.
it's
Yeah.
the same,
They-
yeah.
It's all
The
three.
firm has contacted them to try and set a date to start the process. And they haven't gotten back to us yet with a date. But the idea was that we start the process in November, and it will take approximately 4 months before we'll have those permits. Just because there's public comment periods and other things that have to occur. So it would be March.
Yeah, it never, I was sitting in that meeting and it never occurred to me and I thought, oh, maybe we need a pivot here, but maybe not. Because the other thing about the grant is any work that has happened before the grant is granted cannot be reimbursed.
Mm.
You can't apply for monies that you've already spent, right? And you're already in process. So maybe the 50-year is what we do. And
I will say the monies that we've spent up until, the largest chunk is definitely going to be the actual build.
For the structure?
For the fields.
Yeah.
Do you want to just briefly explain for anybody listening what the intended improvement is?
Sure. So
Like the 5-minute overview version?
the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Currently, there are 2 soccer fields that in between the 2 soccer fields, there is scrub natural land. The intent is to take a portion of that natural land and turn it into more playable surface. And also to create more parking. At the existing parking, there's parking on one side. We are going to put parking on both sides. And then also near Mason Road, there is some unused space that we would put in an additional parking area there.
And then an exit, a separate
Entrance.
entrance. That would be the entrance. And you
Yes.
go out there.
And then the other piece of it is we want to have a lightning structure at the fields. So in case of lightning, there is a place for people to get undercover. So that is the other portion.
It also allows us to have a snack shack there, and it will consolidate the in-town and travel programs together so that they are at one facility. So we have, we do have, I don't know how to say it, but we do have funding lined up for the lightning structure, tentatively. So we are moving in. We've fundraised close to $100,000 in 3 years, 4 years.
So if the town were to say that TASA didn't need to do all of this, that we would apply for the grants and then we could use the town would use the grant money to create the playing fields.
Or even the parking, because the parking is,
Yeah.
That would be.
we planned on using reclaimed asphalt.
Mhm.
But that's a detail thing. We do have a loose itemized budget for the items, but
So-
yeah.
Because I think the main thing is that TASA cannot apply for that grant. It has to come from a municipality.
And you already have options on the grant process that you're looking into.
I think I'll let Selena answer, but let me just say, I think regardless of how we should do the 50-year lease, I think regardless of whether it's TASA that applies for the grants or the town that applies for some portion of, funding of the, and that needs to be discussed because it is a 50% reimbursement and the town has to show that they have all the funds in the budget ahead of time.
At town meeting, they have to vote on it.
And yes, it has to be voted at the town meeting. That's exactly right. But so does the 50-year lease.
Yes.
So I'm in favor of a 50-year lease, no matter how the things get funded for the improvements in the field. I think this is something that we could talk about, but it might affect the wording that goes into the lease. And as long as there's time to get that wording in place and get it to a town meeting for the 50-year vote for the new lease. And we can figure out how the funding goes, because it's with all the permitting costs, I don't know how much funds you guys have for improvement. And the,
We're working,
you know.
Slowly but surely.
it's gonna go quick.
And the roadway or whatever. We'll look back at that grant. But in any event,
But I know, so Groton, the grant that Groton received was for Cow Pond Fields
mhm,
for design and improvement.
mhm,
So, and that was $1 million, like I said.
yeah,
Um,
so it must be the 500 to $1 million that you can receive. And is the town funding the other 50%, or is
I
the
believe
ball
so.
organization?
no, the town
The
is,
town is, and they have CPA money.
that too, and I didn't want to bring that up, but
Yeah.
there is the CPA that will.
That could help with.
Both.
Mhm.
I think the
Our
estimates for the first year is like 20,000 for our CPA
For what?
for year one.
Well, so the
That's
other
for-
portion of
I got
this,
that.
Yeah.
is there is a time frame in which we are allowed to do any building. And it ends on March
Yeah, it's March.
15th, I believe.
Oh, because you have
Yeah,
to,
the nesting,
Of 26?
Yeah,
Well, no,
Of
it's
every
every
year.
Every year.
Oh.
So from November to March is the allowable.
seems to be foundations and everything in November. So then you can bring it.
Yes and no. The
Relatively.
expense that we've, you can have turtle management or habitat management plans in place that help work during time periods, with daily checks. So there are, I don't want to say workarounds, but there are ways to complete the work.
accommodate, yeah.
So then are we, I would like to, that we put this on the January or the next special time when we're certified for cash or whatever we do. The next.
Do we have time to work on a lease and meet with you guys to figure out what that lease is gonna look like?
So my question there would be, if we ask the townspeople to extend the lease, does the wording of the lease have to be completely done before that meeting?
Yes, they have to know everything that's in the contract they're voting for,
Okay,
because it's my take. You would have to put an amendment. If you end up amending the lease that the town voted for, you'd have to bring it back to the town, my thoughts.
because
But I-
in
It's
the
like having a
previous
public hearing and not
town
It
having
meeting-
depends on, whether we want to do, develop a lease for 50 years, or whether we want to approve the lease for 50 years.
You were looking into the other ones and they were,
It was just, the wording was. I have it, yeah. It was to.
previous practice. Not to put you on the spot all of a sudden.
It's okay. So according to the town meeting minutes, the article to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to enter into a new 50-year lease agreement with the Townsend.
So the
Fire
exact wording does not have to be complete. It just has to be the intention to enter into a 50-year lease. They aren't voting on the exact,
Right, the exact
Right,
lease
they're
was
not
not
voting on the
presented
lease.
to the town meeting.
so then we can just go for that and,
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And then work it out. One question, when is the current lease up?
well, we just signed it.
Yes, so 2028. I believe.
2028.
September.
Okay.
2020.
So it would
September
be a
30th.
new lease. Okay, yeah. All right.
And if it helps at all, the old firehouse 50-year lease was from May 7th, 2024, town meeting. And it was Article 15,
Special town meeting.
special town.
Article 14, I think does the same. I think it's 14 and 15 for the two different buildings. So do we need a motion?
I make a motion that we, add a request for a 50-year lease for TESA to our next, special town meeting.
Veronica Kell, second.
Any
Yeah.
further discussion?
Do you need to repeat that with my name?
And I just heard your name in my mind.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move that we add a 50-year TASA lease to the next special town meeting.
And Veronica Cal again seconds.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
We have AI taking meeting minutes, so if we don't say our names, that's why. Sound repetitive.
I have one follow-up question, which is, do you know the date of the special town meeting yet?
It hasn't been considered yet, but we're thinking probably January is what it's looking like.
We want to be able to advertise it to,
To the town people who are part of TASA?
Mhm.
But, you know, once we
course.
have an idea of when it's gonna be, we can give you that information so you can start, you know, getting support for it.
Yeah, and I get notices when meetings happen, so I'll just keep an eye out too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Four point three, ratification. Is there a motion, ratification letter?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to ratify the side letter with the police union for a detailed pay rate increase. We discussed this previously.
Veronica Cal second.
Any discussion?
We had a
I
large,
thought we had.
we had a big discussion about, with the police chief here,
Mhm.
about increasing the rate for, details in town, but, based on what I understand, we never actually ratified the letter. So that's why we need to,
Okay, because I thought I gave my permission for a stamp.
I think, there was some
We-
questions, so I think we just have to do it.
We just have to do it in.
Is there a motion then?
Do we have it here, or do you need me to give permission for a stamp? You have it? Okay.
I think that, I think it's just a vote to ratify the
Okay.
agreement,
Okay,
the MOU or the side letter, whatever.
Let me try that again. I, Valerie Goodrich, move to ratify the side letter with the police union for detailed pay rate.
Veronica Cal second.
any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Four point four, town meeting warrant articles. Execution, follow-up, and records. I actually put this on here. Somehow, when I was in the, Guardian this week and the portal and whatnot, I saw a couple of things in reference to warrant articles. And, I was also, I asked Sabrina where the records were of warrant articles. Are they kept in the town clerk's office? Are they kept here? What I'm meaning is that every meeting that the town holds has warrant articles on it that they approve. Where is the record to the action of those warrant articles?
Well, the town clerk keeps the minutes.
Minutes.
Of the
Okay, of the
meeting.
meeting.
But you're talking about the actual,
Warrant and the actions themselves. Like, does a year go by before anything is done or checked on? Is it 2 years or 5 years, or do some things never happen? That's voted by the town.
I don't think there's a formal checklist, so to speak, or someone keeping track. Certainly the financial warrant articles, the town accountant looks at that and makes the appropriate adjustments, whether it's, you know, creating a capital account or, you know, appropriating free cash for a particular project.
And that goes to, as part of our reporting end of year, right? All those financial warrant articles. would-
Correct. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
the financial
yep,
reporting is.
so those are certainly, completed, by the town accountant. The ones that are not, say, financially related, it's like some sort of bylaw change that would go to the AG's office, and then we would get, several months after submittal,
Like
there.
the charter or the master plan and stuff like that?
Yeah, correct. Mostly the bylaw stuff. The charter is a whole different sort of a process that goes actually to the state and to the governor. What are the other type of warrant articles?
Something like the TASA lease would just be.
I mean, I'm just wondering if everything is under the select board office or the town administrator's office as to the actions taken and to make sure that they were taken.
Yeah,
How is the master plan, evolved? The town votes the master plan. It has certain things in the master plan. Is that all the planning board, or are there other parts of the master plan that are not left hanging, if you will?
I would think it would depend on what part too, like there might be something that was conservation or something, master plan, it could be any department, correct?
well, I'm not sure if you're using master plan in the way that we're talking, there's the charter, there's bylaws and, policies. The master plan is, I think, a different document than maybe what you're referring to.
I just wanted to bring it up as a thought that I had,
Mhm.
and I don't know the answer.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't think there is a formal, here are the list of articles, and then, someone is, on a regular basis, checking off a box, they've been done, or this has been complete. Like I said, the financial ones, those are done annually, and those are, there's a checks and balances in regards to that, because the town accountant sees the annual and special town meeting warrant articles that were approved, and then they will make the necessary changes as to what the vote was. So, and then that's submitted to the state. That is definitely done. The other ones, again, I don't think there's a formal checklist that we've completed it.
I just think it's important to follow up.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that hard, considering it can be, a process can be assumed right after the town meeting takes place. In other words, these were approved, what are the actions, what date were they done?
And I will say this, for the most part, these warrant articles, there's either some department or body that has a vested interest in it, so it wouldn't, whatever was voted on, I think it would be in their best interest to follow up on it, because, they wanted that warrant article to be approved, so I think they certainly would follow up if no action was actually completed, because, again, they have a vested interest in it, if the highway department was, there was a capital article to, buy a dump truck, and for whatever reason, nothing was done, I would be hopeful that, that particular department would speak up and say, hey, where's my equipment that was voted on at town meeting?
I'm not worried so much about the financial ones, because they want, they got their approval, they're gonna get whatever they wanted to go after and get. It's more the ones that are not financial.
Yeah, and like I said, even then, there's probably a particular board or committee or department that has a, vested interest in getting that action item, seen through,
Okay.
have to have follow through, but
I really don't wanna belabor it kind of thing, we don't need to repeat.
I just want to bring up a few
Okay.
things. These are things that were in play when I was previously selectman. What's the status of the town's agreement with the school district for Spalding School? That was being negotiated, and apparently that negotiation never completed. It's this item that made me start bringing these, thinking, well, what happened with this? What happened with that? So apparently there's a side letter that there were two things with Spalding School. One was to allow rec to use it for summer programs, which was, they were using it, but it was very expensive, and every year there was a there had to be a negotiation for, can they use it, can they not use it, blah, blah, blah. I believe there's a side letter now that rec has with the schools.
Correct.
But we were going to put that into the agreement with the schools. And going back through records, I found a letter from Nancy Haynes saying we'll get back to negotiating the lease. Do we know where our town lease is with the public schools, the regional school district? And what about the Tesa ball fields? That was also leased from the, not Tesa, sorry. That was all, thank you.
Yeah, someone brought up that also. might-
Yeah, we don't need to, but that was also, to be cut off so that they could have a lease for that separately with the schools.
Mhm.
And I don't know what happened with that.
I actually did reach out to Nancy regarding it. You are correct, there is a side letter for the rec department using, school facilities. So that's in place, which is good. But the lease agreement for the softball, baseball, apparently that has not been finalized yet, and I don't have any historical insight into it.
When was it voted on? Long time ago?
Couple of years, maybe? Was it only a couple of years ago?
It was around the same time, and I have town meeting minutes up here from the website, that I'm going through. I haven't found them yet, but I seem to remember this.
I mean, would there be a process by which, just, not that you want the select board to have to do it, whereby, midway, in a less busy time of year, everything that was approved the year before, just a status update,
Yeah, I think we need something like that.
maybe in an annual calendar type of thing, if we ever.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
I just feel like something kept telling me, follow up, okay? And I didn't feel that it was happening because we've had so many other distractions. And I appreciate the conversation. And Nelson, you'll look into whatever we might need to update. Let me go to 5.1.
I think I saw the fire.
Did you?
Yeah, I think you might have gone that way.
All right.
So,
I didn't, so,
I can see if he's there.
sure.
Because
and
it is
then we can
4:12.
call.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's why I was going on to the next thing, because I didn't see him come in. But if that is the case, then, we are past the 4:10 time period. And I'm going to go to 7.2. Executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A2, to conduct strategy session preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or contract negotiations with non-union personnel at either fire chief. I, Laura Schifrin, make a motion to enter into executive session at 4:14 PM and adjourn from executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel and contract negotiations with non-union personnel, or fire chief.
Wait,
Yeah, I think
I'm
you said,
confused.
I think you misspoke, you mentioned
I'll
adjournment.
start again. Okay? I'll start again. Sorry.
Can I, before you start again, we are not adjourning from executive session. We
We
will
are
be
not.
coming
We
back
are
to
not.
open session.
I read the wrong one. Sorry. I, Laura Schiffer, make a motion to enter into executive session at 4:14 PM pursuant to open meeting law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiation with non-union personnel and contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Fire chief. Do I have a second?
Veronica Cal second.
Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Target time.
Laura Schifrin, aye. We will be coming back from this executive session.
Into open session.
The recording
TCAM
has stopped.
Well, how about that? I'm going to put myself full screen. We're going to have a very long, excuse me, we're going to have a very long break. I forgot that the executive sessions were on this agenda, but there's two of them. As you might have noticed, the fire chief is at the table waiting to discuss his raise. Yes, indeed. They're negotiating with Gary, and I'm confident they're going to give him everything he asked for, maybe even give him some extras. That's usually how they operate with Gary, and they probably want to give him some kind of bonus because of all the harassment he's been receiving from us and the ethics and everybody else. I don't know what they're going to do if the FBI comes into town. And I just really, I think that things are going to go really much worse than they are today. But that's my opinion. Boy, I can't get my throat clear here. So, so they're going to be negotiating a contract. They're renegotiating his contract as fire chief. I know there's a lot of people in Townsend who are very upset about that, and they want to see him terminated and possibly just get out of here. I think he should stop. I think he should resign, and they should post a position from somebody outside of Townsend to take over as fire chief. I know they tried that many years ago and didn't work that well. There were problems, and our next fire chief wasn't that bad. He was fine. Mark Boynton was our fire chief, and he came from out of town. They gave him a lot of shit, and he finally left. But there was another guy that I can't speak definitely, but it seemed like from the as an outsider, I was thinking that he wasn't up for the task. And he didn't live very close by, and he really didn't move, despite him signing a contract that he was going to. So got a little crazy with him. I don't remember his name. He wasn't here long. But I do think, that the Board of Selectmen should be negotiating his termination. And what are you going to do? How are we going to send you out the door? That's what they should be talking. If they're talking to him at all, that's what they should be talking about. Because this ethics stuff is only getting worse by the day. And I suspect it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And it's only going to make the people sitting at that table much more embarrassed than they are now. And right now they seem to be retaliating along with all the other parties. And yeah, it's going to be tough. Also in this executive session, it's going to be negotiating with the town administrator, which has a lot of people confused. I'm not quite sure what this is about. His contract isn't up. I think he has a 3-year contract, and he's only finished his first year as in August. So I don't know what this is about. He forego his raise this year because of the budget problems. So a lot of people are asking a lot of questions about what are they negotiating with him, and maybe they're negotiating his departure. I don't know. We're going to find out whatever, because all contracts are public records. So, yeah. So since we have so much time here, I'm thinking that I'm going to take a, oh no, I can still see what's going on. Excuse me. Bear with me here. I'm thinking, do you guys remember, not if anybody's going to answer me, but a few weeks back, I filed an open meeting law complaint against the water department. And they finally did their response. I got it today. Their due date on this response, according to the open meeting law, was to provide it to me no later than Monday. And they never asked for an extension. So they're in violation of the open meeting law yet again. And I did receive it this afternoon. And it's quite, I don't know what to call it. It's really frightening. It's really, I've never seen an open meeting law response so bizarre. And I've read them. The Attorney General's website has everybody's open meeting law determination. It doesn't have the responses, but we can get them. I've read some, but I've never seen these excuses. Todd Melanson actually blamed Facebook, and he actually was insinuating or mentioning that social media was a problem, and that's why he was violating the open meeting law. But since we have so much time, and we do have a little bit of time here, because they're going to do 2 contracts. They're not coming up back to us between the two of them. So I don't know how much time we have. They must be finished actually by 6. So we could be sitting here an hour and a half. They have to finish by 6. And because the finance committee's coming in and they have a joint meeting, and that's going to be another shit show. So I'm thinking of pulling up. I was going to do a separate meeting for this. So those of you that are here, since I've got a growing crowd here, I should pull up the open meeting law response that the Board of Water Commissioners, which Todd did this. It's all Todd. I missed their meeting on Monday. They had a meeting Monday and they voted on this. I think it was on their agenda, and I couldn't get to the meeting. And so I don't know what they said. Once the meeting gets oh, brother. I just got a weird message, but that's okay. Sorry for the interruption. We where was I? Anyway, on the Attorney General's website, you can find all this stuff. Yeah, I missed the meeting. See, I lost my train of thought now. I missed the meeting on Monday, so I don't know what their conversation was as they determined what they were going to put in the open meeting law response, the violation response. So I'm going to pull that up in a moment. But first, I want to kind of introduce this new format. I finally figured out how to live stream Zoom meetings. I could never figure it out. And even today, I was like, is this going to work? I did a test and it seemed to work. And then when I don't know, because it wants to Zoom wants to send me to the app, and that never works. I cannot do live stream off their app. So I don't know. I figured it out. It's what I get for not clearly reading instructions. And I found them and I tried it again. So you have to go back and read things a few times sometimes. And I did. And now oh my gosh, I know how to live stream Zoom meetings now. So boy, are we in trouble. Cindy knows how to live stream Zoom meetings. Oh my goodness. So I don't have to wait for TCAM anymore. Anything that's on Zoom in the town, I can show live, which I've wanted to do for so long. I've wanted these meetings to be live streamed on YouTube, and the town just won't do it. So I'm doing it. And what I really like about this is I'm going to tell a little history back in COVID when all the Zoom stuff began. They started with the Zoom meetings, and they used to have a complete open season where the comment, of course, I think they even had public comment period, but I don't remember. I mean, they just got sick of people commenting because Veronica always shut people off anyway. But on Zoom, you could people were commenting. I was having all kinds of comments, and many of us were actually former town officials where we knew the topics that they were talking about. We weren't harassing. We weren't being jerks. At least not most of the time. But we were in the comment section on the Zoom meeting. We were making comments about in the text, not just interrupting, but we were putting comments in the Zoom chat thing of what was on our mind and some of the things that we thought would be helpful for the board to make decisions, because a lot of us knew the history. I know I was there every day. Andrea Wood used to be on there, and a bunch of other people. We were really interested in following meetings on Zoom. So we used to comment and be telling them stuff, and it was up to them to either listen to us or ignore us. But the way they dealt with it back then was blocking all comments, so nobody could comment anymore. And so we really lost our voice. And of course, all these town officials, they don't like Facebook. People comment on Facebook and all hell breaks loose. And it really does. So Facebook has really lost popularity. My understanding, most of the people on Facebook are old people like me. Younger people aren't really in tune with Facebook. They have other places to go. I don't know. I don't know where they're going. I just don't know. Well, they're using other format, but they're not watching meetings. They don't care about this stuff. They're interested in national politics, but like most people, not local. But anyway, back to my story. So the town did away with comments on a Zoom meeting, and they did that probably just a few short months after they started allowing it. As soon as they started with Zoom, that they did away with the comments. So it's been frustrating for, what is it, 4 or 5 years now, probably closer to 5, that we've not been able to comment. But now, this is one big reason why I want to do these, why I really want to put the, what have they done with that? Okay. Anyway, sorry. I've just got the screen up. Okay, never mind. I'm all right. I'm watching what's happening on the town's meeting screen right now, and it's just the Zoom faces on, and I just hope we're still connected. I think we are. I'll check back in a moment. It won't be a problem if we're not. I can fix that. But anyway, so I've really wanted to live stream the select board meetings in this format. Years ago, I wanted to live stream. Well, years ago, I've only been doing this 1.5 years. So a year ago, even before I was eligible for doing live anything, I wanted to be in the meeting and record it and live stream. But every time I've tried to do live streaming from outside of my house, there's always some kind of, not always, but often there's technical issues that make it really hard to watch if you're a viewer, and even embarrassing for me to watch later, because I don't get to see what's really happening on your end if I'm behind the camera. I don't get to see it till later how badly I messed that up. But now I've learned the technology that I already had, and I've wanted to do this live stream of town meetings to provide the comment section to the public. Now, and one thing that we lost when they stopped the commenting on the town Zoom was not necessarily that people were trying to communicate with the board, but that we were also communicating with each other. And that might have been the bigger problem that the select board didn't want to see, that we were talking. And there was complaints. The complaint, the peanut gallery was alive and well, and we, so they didn't want that opportunity. And we have that opportunity now, where as of today, I'll be live streaming when I can. If I'm not home or I'm doing something else, then I can't live stream, but I'm going to try to do this as often as I can. And in this, I want all of you who want to watch town meetings. When I say town meetings, I'm not talking about the annual town meeting or the special town meeting. They're not live streaming that anywhere. So I can't live stream that. I'm talking about Board of Selectmen meetings, conservation meetings, FinCom meetings, Board of Health meetings, Planning Board, whoever's on there, I can live stream their meetings. And with those, you get the comment section. They won't see it unless they're logged on the side, which I don't think it's too confusing to do that when you're inside of a meeting trying to function. I wouldn't ever expect them to try that. But the comments for later, when we speak in the comment section here, well, some of this goes away, I think, when, let's see, I think I can program this. Nah, I don't know. I'll figure this out. I'll figure it out someday. But the people who are watching can get more information about what's happening. What's the Board of Selectmen talking about? And either it can be like, I made a lot of comments today so far on some of the things that they were referring to. And if you're a participant, you can look at these comments and you can comment. Anybody can comment. So far today, there's a handful of people here right now. None of you have made any comments yet. You don't have to, but you can, and you can ask questions like, what are they talking about? And either I or other people that might be here can have a conversation in the chat about what's happening in this meeting. What are they referring to? Because it can really go over everybody's head if you're not following everything that's happening in town. And I'd spend probably a disproportionate amount of my time following up on everything I can that's going on in town. And one of the benefits, I think, of my channel being in existence is to help inform everybody of what's happening. And this format will allow for all of you, whoever's here in this meeting, to gain some insight about what's happening in the meeting that we're watching. And I mean, sometimes some of these meetings can be pretty boring if you don't have an interest in any of the topics. But some of these meetings can be earth-shattering when you didn't know that some of these things that might be not a big deal to most people, but it could be pretty earth-shattering to you if you didn't know that your neighbor was going to be doing major construction at their house. And, oh, wait a minute. And those kind of things are talked about at meetings. Or, there's a lot of things, like we've been talking about the ethics complaint. And when I'm live streaming a meeting where they're talking around that topic, I can say, oh, hello, this relates to that. And there were a couple things that they brought up so far today that is in relation to the ethics complaints as well as the retaliation involved. I can't speak about one area. Something happened tonight that disturbed me greatly, and I can't discuss it. It's confusing. I'm not going to try to explain that, but yeah, but there'll be more to come in meeting after meeting as the ethics stuff develops. And I think there's going to be more documents coming out from ethics as they're developing their case. Let's see, somebody sent me a text a minute ago. Let me see. Let me see if it has anything I need to share with you. Let's see. I could do that. Yeah, I got a comment that some of the negotiations, it's anticipated that we'll have a different schedule than what they've said. That's what, I'm not going to say who's texted me, but it's 4:30 now. FinCom is coming in at 6. Depending on what they're talking about in both of them, an hour and a half could be enough time to discuss if they're organized, which I don't know that they are, but if they're organized enough, they may have specific points to discuss tonight and with both men, and they could easily fit both of them in if they're discussing specific points in an hour and a half. They could easily do that, but I don't have all that faith in any of these people, any of them. I have something on my eye, so I'm sorry I keep scratching it. I shouldn't scratch it. I should do something else. But I mean, I got one opinion that one of these negotiations, not the fire chief, but Nelson's might be negotiate whatever they're going to do with Nelson might be after the FinCom comes in. What else is on their agenda? Let me see. God, my eye. Okay. Where's the agenda? I had it. There it is. Okay. Oh, there's more coming on this. Yeah, they might come back before 6. They're going to have to come back before 6. Wow. Because they've got town administrator updates, fire EMS regionalization update, a grant, reports from the board liaisons, library council on aging event updates. That's Valerie. North Middlesex School District updates. Oh, that could take the whole night. Announcements, updated vacancy list, next meeting, or review and sign payroll. Yep. They need to come back before 6. There's a lot more. Hold on. We got old business. They haven't even touched this stuff. No. They're not going to they can't possibly get to everything that's on their agenda. Can't be done. I don't know how they're going to do this. Because FinCom, unless they only want to talk 5 minutes to FinCom, I wouldn't be surprised if the select board doesn't want to talk to FinCom. Wow. So I was going to bring up the open meeting law complaint. One of the things on the agenda sparked my interest, a reminder that tomorrow night there's a big shindig. There's a big meeting in Groton. It's not about Groton specifically. It's a school meeting. It's going to have our state rep, Margaret Scarsdale, and somebody else from the legislature who chairs some committee on schools. And they, I got the flyer somewhere, but they're, and all the state senators from each of the overlapping districts that Margaret covers, it's so including Lunenburg, Townsend, Groton, Pepperell. Well, it would be Ashby as well. I don't know what else, but this whole overlap of all these representatives and senators who at the state level, who are involved with trying to improve the funding for the schools. They're going to be at the middle school in Groton tomorrow night, I think from 6 to 8. I think there's a registration. I registered, I guess, because I got a reminder email, so I must have registered. So, but it's up there. If you don't know where that is, if you're going from Townsend to Groton, as you're going, when you hit the school zone, if you're trying to get someplace in the morning or when school's getting out and you're going down 119 into Groton, where you get stopped by the school speed limit, right before the Hafner's gas station on the left, there's the schools. Go up that hill and up in there someplace. There'll be balloons apparently to tell us where to go. But you should register. I don't believe you have to. I think they were just looking for estimated numbers. I don't think it's a public meeting, so they really can't make you register. They're not going to send anybody away. I don't think, unless we hit the fire department limit on how many people can go in that building. But I don't think we're going to get that many. But everybody from all the towns in our region should be going to this meeting because we've got a lot of issues regarding school budgeting. And I've read some things on Facebook here and there, or some people sent me stuff that discuss weird things that I'm not necessarily sure is the purpose of this meeting. But some people want to hear from us. That's one thing. There is a comment period and questions that you can pre-register for. But they're going to be talking about what they're trying to do and what the status in the future of school funding is from the state budget, because clearly we need more money from the state. But my premise is, well, we don't seem to be getting it. We did get more this year. Our schools got more, which takes some of the pressure, but not all of it, off of the towns to try to fund our schools. My argument with school funding is if nobody else is funding the schools, we need to. If the state isn't giving us the money, we have to cough it up. We cannot say we're not funding our schools. If the state's not giving us the money, the schools aren't getting the money. We can't do that. And the reason I say that is we need to support the kids. This is not just a simple budget thing. I mean, it's very complicated. And school budgets for every single town in Massachusetts is the biggest part of every town budget everywhere. It's not unique to us. And one of the most important things a community needs to do is fund the schools. And people get into this argument, well, they don't need to go to college. We're not talking about college. We're talking about high school, junior high, or middle school. It's not junior high anymore. It's middle school. And they need to get that core education. But if you want to talk about college, do you want to deny our children the opportunity to become doctors, lawyers, nurses, and even lab techs? These are all jobs that require education beyond high school. And if they don't get the basic core development in high school, they're going to have trouble counting change at Dunkin'. And stop that. I mean, we don't want people to grow up to be working at Dunkin'. I mean, yeah, somebody has to work at Dunkin', but I'd rather have to push our kids to be able to become a franchise owner of multiple Dunkin' Donuts, not just pour coffee. I want them to be qualified to buy franchises and own multiple restaurants, maybe something bigger than a Dunkin' Donuts. And they got to go to college. They don't have to, but that's, getting a business education is the better avenue. But there's all these different functions that we take for granted in our day-to-day lives of opportunities and employment that people we need in our lives. We need to go see people and have professionals do certain things for us. You want to deny our kids the opportunity to be one of those professionals? We have to pour money into our schools, and we're going to have to figure out a way to do that. I'm hoping, that we have good news from the legislature, but this is all talking about, at minimum next year. And I think there's a lot more that needs to be talked about. And that meeting, I think, will be very helpful. But it's, the meaning isn't going to be, period, the towns don't have to spend any money. That is just not, I don't see that at all. But I see more talk probably as a partnership as well. But I'm sure we're getting an update on what kind of things they're planning. But of course, they're just a lot of it is bills that they're submitting to the legislature for approval to provide more funding. But that doesn't mean they're going to pass. I'm not trying to get anybody riled up. I'm trying to kind of decompress to say, be careful what you're wishing for this meeting, but I highly recommend everybody go. I registered and I'm hoping I get to go. I don't know. I don't know if I am or not. I want to, but I might have some conflicts here. I've got a lot going on. And I would really like to go, but I don't know. And if I do go, I will not be recording that meeting. I'm hoping that somebody's recording it that will be available to everyone. And I will find out who is recording it and the source so that I can possibly stream it onto my channel and share that with you once it does get up. Or at least tell you on Facebook or somewhere where you can get it without me as an intermediary. I don't have to be the one. All right. Boy, now I'm wheezing. Damn, I got allergies in November. That's not good. Okay. I was going to bring up, let me see if I can bring up the open meeting law complaint. Hold on. This will take me a moment because I don't have it prepared. Downloads. Okay. I guess I was on my phone when I was playing with it before, and I got to find it here. Let me see. So I'll download it onto my computer, onto my email. Then I'm going to open it in preview. This is in really small print. Let's see how this goes. All right. I'm going to have to take down. Yikes. I'm hoping I don't miss what's going on at the select board meeting. Share screen. Window. Here is the mess of a thing. Okay, here's that. I got to look at what's happening. I guess, let's see how this works. All right, I'll be able to hear them. We both probably will when they come back. What time is it? It's going on 5. All right, so that's there. I'm going to get out of the picture. I'm going to try to make it bigger on my other screen so you can see it. Okay. Come on. There. Let me see if that helps you. I don't know if I can make it much bigger. I'm going to try again. Let's see. Oh, I don't think I can do this. Nope. I'm going to have to turn it down a notch. You're going to have to live with this. I am going to do a separate, if I have time tomorrow, I'm going to do a separate video on this. I just figured since we have time to kill, waiting for the select board to come back from executive session, I would go over this. Those of you that have been following know I did an open meeting law complaint against the Board of Water Commissioners on their meeting on the 27th of October, I think. They had a meeting and Todd had a venting session. He went off on, I don't know, quite sure what his problem was. But he spent about 10 minutes, which is a long time, discussing the financing of the water treatment plant. And this was nowhere, no how, no way on the agenda. And there was no emergency regarding funding. There was no reason to discuss it. There was no vote that needed to be taken. And I filed a complaint, which I'll show in another video. I already did, actually, but when I go over this in a separate video, sorry to confuse you, I'll play it all over again. But because this video that we're doing right now, nobody knows I'm talking about the open meeting law complaint with the Board of Water Commissioners. Everybody that sees my channel and sees me live streaming, they think I'm talking about the Board of Selectmen meeting. So this is kind of off topic for me. Thankfully, the open meeting law doesn't apply. Okay, so let me read this. It is my and the board of, hey, I'm going to ask this person. I know you're on here. Just send me another text. Is it okay that I use your name? Can I give your name during this explanation here? It is my and the Board of Water, since they already know who you are, but it is my and the Board of Water Commissioners and the town of Townsend's response. So no, it's not the town of Townsend's response. Let's see. Okay, I got permission. All right, thank you. It is my and the Board of Water Commissioners of the town of Townsend. Okay, weird. After consulting with the Division of Open Government. Okay, the Division of Open. Okay, so Todd is coming right out of the gate saying that the AGO already told him it's not a violation, which is bullshit, because they can't make that determination now. It takes them about 4 months to make a determination, because now I get to do another response to this, a bunch of bullshit. And I get to respond to this, which will be a very much longer letter than he wrote, to explain that no, there's no way that this is even should be allowed. This is stupid. But anyway, but he said that basically that after consulting with the Division of Open Government, no open meeting violation occurred for the following stated reasons. Given the public outcry and panic caused by the Facebook post, in which it was claimed the town and the water department were losing our SRF funding, in parentheses, 0% interest and principal forgiveness. Due to the poster's position and standing as within the West Groton Water District and towns in the Townsend community in general. This is a lengthy answer. Jesus, can you do one? Is this all in one sentence? This whole thing is one sentence. Holy cow. Call the grammar police. I believed it was in the best interest of the community and its residents to answer that specific portion by laying out the SRF process, what? Is it SFR or SRF? Which one is it? The oversight included, and that it was not part of the Clean Water Trust function to take ethics violations into consideration in terms of penalties or punishment, as they are strictly a financial institution. This is all one friggin' sentence, whose only concern is whether the loan can be repaid or was spent in accordance with why the loan was procured. Oh my God, we got to a period. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back up. This is, okay. What's disturbing is that nowhere in his response does he mention what the Facebook post actually said. He didn't include it. He didn't attach it. But let me tell you, I will be. I've got screenshots, and I think I'm going to have to get more context, because I'm not sure if I have everything I need. But Dawn Priest posted on Facebook somewhere in a group that I am not a member of, and made some concerns. She voiced some of her concerns about the ethics complaints that are now going through Ethics Commission and has led to $1 million lawsuit by the losing bidder on the water treatment facility. And my understanding is she stated that she had concerns that it was kind of a question that the potential possibility, maybe sort of kind of, that we could lose. Is there a risk that we could lose some of the benefits that we've gained by having this water treatment facility built? Quite a bit of it, but not all of it, is funded through 0% interest and with some principal forgiveness, as well as grants from this and that and the next thing. And I'm going to tell you some of the things that I have seen. I've seen, because RFS, the company who's suing us, has asked for a volume of, okay, I'm getting more copies. Unfortunately, it's on my phone. It's on my watch that I'm reading your text, but it's okay. I can't pull them up, but I want them. Thank you. Keep sending them. But the contract for I'm going to call it a contract, but the grant acceptance, the grant applications, they do require that the contracting be done without, in accordance with ethics, proper contracting procedures, and that they be ethical. I'm probably using some of the wrong way that the wording is on there, and I may, when I do write to the AG on responding to this, I will have the proper wording, and I will certainly be sending Facebook posts, which is completely bizarre and isn't normal on an open meeting law complaint. But since Todd is blaming Facebook for the town was in a panic, so he had to use Facebook as his excuse why he didn't properly post the conversation that he had on his Facebook during the Townsend Water Commissioners meeting back in October. So, wow. I can't believe this is all one sentence. But yeah. So the comments here, I'm jumping around a little bit, but what's really scary to me, I think, is completely inappropriate. And he attacked Dawn Priest works at the West Groton Water District. So he's attacking her in this document and using her job as some type of, I don't know why he found it necessary to say something about her position in West Groton Water District, which has absolutely nothing to do with the Townsend Water at all. And Dawn is a private citizen, and like all private citizens, and she lives in Townsend, and she has every right under the First Amendment to speak her mind about issues that apply to the community in which she lives. I mean, she can talk about things going on in Groton if she wants to. Because of her position, she can't talk about things in Groton about Groton water, because that would be an ethics violation for her, so she doesn't. Well, I'm sure she just doesn't want to anyway. She doesn't drink their water. Well, she does, and I'm sorry, that was inappropriate of me. But I mean, the Townsend, what's going on in Townsend is she has absolutely every right to speak about. And she is the one who made some kind of Facebook post that Todd doesn't like. My understanding, it is on Townsend What's Going On, and which I'm not on. And Todd is an admin. So this gets even deeper and has absolutely nothing to do with anything that he should be talking about. Yes. You want me to talk about that? Yeah. But anyway, Todd's on the attack on Dawn, and he's trying, I don't know how he thinks an open meeting law response is going to work on discrediting Dawn. It's just not going to, it has absolutely nothing to do with it. And when the Attorney General is done with this, when they get my response to this, I think it should clear the air. It's hard to say if the AGO will buy his excuse on using Facebook. But I mean, this first paragraph, or I should say this run-on sentence, says that there was no ethics violations are okay. That it's okay to violate ethics. We'll still get the money. There won't be any penalties for ethics. It's not, they're just giving us money. There's no ethics. Ethics violations are not taken into consideration when it comes to any of this millions of dollars that we've received from. That is completely not right. The most of the money that we signed for, one of the caveats of signing, they signed, whoever signed understanding that they are required to follow the ethics laws and all contracting laws. That's 30B. That's all where ethics is coming into this. So he's full of shit. That I have been speaking out since June. I mean, there was no panic. I mean, the public outcry has been going on for 6 months, almost 6 months, not quite 6 months, 5.5 months, or 5 months exactly, actually. That when David Vizant was first noticed that he was, or was first publicly announced that he was under accusations by the Ethics Commission for his actions as part of the contracting with Shepco. So, and I've been very outspoken that I am concerned about the funding, and Todd keeps saying, and everybody over there keeps saying, "Oh no, we're good," and I don't think we are. I mean, yes, everything is still moving until nothing's been settled, so they're not going to, in the middle of where things are right now, turn off the spigot, so to speak, on financing our water treatment place. I think that, yeah, I keep trying to check back to the select board, but I don't think that in the middle of this, they're going to, nothing will happen with the financing until the hearings happen. Like if it's found that the contracting was in fact violating ethics or the contracting laws, which is where the ethic complaint comes from, then that's, if any action is going to be taken, it will be. But everything right now is status quo. There's nobody's pulling the plug today or tomorrow. It will be at least February. That's when, well, it could be January, but February is when David's hearing is tentatively scheduled for. So that is, that's when we can start to worry. But we shouldn't panic. And I don't think there was any panic. I think I've seen most of the conversation through screenshots of what happened over at what's going on. And the biggest crazy person was Joe Shank, with his venting and accusing Dawn of having some inside scoop and with ethics, and maybe she filed the complaint, and I don't think she did. But that, I mean, it was kind of bizarre. Of course, Joe Shank has always got bizarre things to say, and how he accuses things and just makes things up, and then people start to follow him. Like, where does he even get these ideas? But that's what, if there's any kind of really screaming, it was from Joe Shank. But most of the people that I have been engaged with on either social media or in person or through my YouTube channel, there's no panic, there's disgust. I mean, people are disgusted by what's happening with the ethics complaint. So, this is, and he's just full of shit on this long run on. I can't believe that's one sentence. I can't freaking believe it. One sentence. Okay. He said, all of these facts are easily found either on its website or by calling the program manager. None of that I'm sure the program manager isn't going to say anything because she doesn't know. My goodness. Jesus Christ. Okay. Whatever. Okay. And anyway, he's only taking one corner of the funding. He's only taking one corner of this. He's not even addressing the rest of it. And he's got to be worried. If he's not worried, there's something wrong with him. He needs to be really on top of this and not just talking to Michelle Higgins at the state revolving fund. There's a lot more at stake here than that. And I know that wasn't the only thing that Dawn was addressing, was this one thing. We have a lot to be concerned about, but not panicked. And no, I haven't seen anybody panic. I think everybody's just pissed off at David and Gary and it's just getting worse. And the stuff that just came out that I reported to you yesterday on Gary, both David and Gary, I was mortified. That's got more concern for me. I don't know. What am I getting? I'm getting notifications. Okay, it was a simple statement of easily found facts with no discussion nor votes taken and was solely to allay any community fears. Okay, so he just confessed that it was a simple statement of easily found facts with no discussion or votes taken and was solely to allay. He went to college. I don't understand this. Any community fears due to an inappropriate and uneducated Facebook post. This sounds like so idiotic. This is idiotic. And the first part is a confession that there was no urgent matter. This was just not urgent. There was no urgency. And he just decided to educate the public about Facebook. And based on a Facebook post, this is an adult, supposedly. You can't be. Oh, and then he has got to grow a pair because he doesn't have any. B, I could not reasonably have expected to post to cause the community panic in enough time to have it added legally to our agenda more than 48 hours prior to the meeting. Well, let me tell you that all this Facebook action happened on the Wednesday before the meeting. And he could have posted the meeting. He could have posted that to the agenda on Thursday. Anytime on Thursday, all day, he could have posted this onto his agenda. And because he knew that he was going to be putting it on, he was going to talk about it at the meeting. I could not reasonably have expected that such a post to cause community panic and enough time to have it added legally to our agenda more than 40. Of course he did. He had more than enough time. The Facebook post was on Wednesday. His meeting was on Monday. He didn't have to post the meeting until close of business on Thursday. And even then, on Friday, he could have made a change to the agenda. Whether or not that would have been legal or not, I think it would have been acceptable. And I don't think I would have filed an open meeting law complaint. And I don't think the Attorney General would even entertain. I mean, they would not have found a determination anyway. If he gave that, it would have been administrative to let him know that you should really try better, but that wouldn't have been a determination. And it's not yet anyway, but it's just a lie. Okay, C, it was not in the community's best interest to postpone either, given the continual or extreme concerns over the community's finances of late. It's been ongoing. There was no urgent matter that all of a sudden on Monday morning, the town's finances were first discovered to be extremely problematic. Just happened on Monday morning. No, it did not. The number of residents that reached out to me personally who were deeply, almost to the point of panic, this is bullshit, about the financial impact over the weekend preceding my board's meeting led me to add the topic to the chairman's additions and deletions. Okay, I am going to do a public records request on any correspondence any emails that were sent to Todd in his capacity regarding this. I'm gonna. And I have a right to get those. Any emails he gets, because he doesn't use a water department email. He uses his TDZilla. He uses his personal email for everything. So that's open season, public records. Anything that goes to that email regarding the water is a public record, and I want them. The chairman's addition and deletion line of the board's agenda is a standing line so that any emergency or unexpected issue that comes up may be addressed in an expedited fashion. I used my experience of the community, and that as a water operator, both of which exceed 20 years, to make this decision, and that was not one I made lightly. Oh, you should have not made it so lightly. You should have used your brain, if you have any, to. It was more than 48 hours when you knew this was going on, and you could have. There's so many things you could have done. There are many things you could have done to not have violated the open meeting law. This is quoted straight from the state's open meeting law webpage. May a public body consider a topic at a meeting that was not listed in the minute? Yes, if a topic that the chair did not reasonably anticipate before the meeting, if a meeting topic is proposed after the meeting notice is posted, the public body is encouraged to update its posting. To provide the public with as much notice as possible of what subject will be discussed during the meeting. So that says to do exactly what I said, that he should have updated the posting, not just blow through it and just pop it on everybody on Monday night when he knew about it on Wednesday. This is bullshit. Although a public body may consider a topic that was not listed in the meeting notice if unanticipated, the Attorney General strongly encourages public body to postpone the discussion and action on topics that are controversial or may be of particular interest to the public if those topics were not listed. That's exactly what my complaint was all about. So this is just cuckoo, totally nuts. And this just has the agenda on it. And I'm just going to go back to my little video here. Okay, I'm going to come back here. Okay. I'm going to get that out. So anyway, I'm going to bring, just for safekeeping, I'm going to bring, see, this is what I see. We're still waiting. Okay. Oh, there it is. All right, I'm going to go back here. So we're still waiting. So that was the open meeting law response, the open meeting law complaint response that Todd gave me in nearly one sentence. I can't. I'm going to send him a book on grammar. I need to go get more coffee. Some people are starting to bail, but that's okay. You'll be back. Okay. Yeah. But what I'm going to be doing next with this open meeting law complaint, I got almost 2 weeks to respond to that run-on sentence. And I will be, I can't believe I have to write such a lengthy response. But I get another go at this. I get to respond to his response and reiterate my points. That and I'll send all the proof I can muster that there's no panic. There's not been a panic. I think the only people that contacted him were Joe Shank, Gary Shepard, Lisa Lewan. Let's see, who else? Who else is he including on people that are mad? Ooh, can shut those people up. Okay. Well, Laura Schifrin, Veronica Kell, that are mad because Dawn Priest that she doesn't violate. Oh my God, she doesn't violate anything. She expresses herself, which is her First Amendment right. And it is my First Amendment right to say whatever I want about what's going on in town as well. And to use the government to retaliate against us is pretty scary. We have to protect ourselves. Okay. the voicemail. Is this, I'm going to turn off my mic for a minute. I got to play it. Somebody sent me some. All right. Yeah, I'm going to turn off my mic in a second. I'm going to tell you why. I've got a voicemail. I just want to hear it to see if I'm even going to share it. But okay, I'll be right. I'm going to be right here. Just don't. Okay, turn my mic back on. I'm going to ask you to. Can you send that clip? Is it possible to send that clip through email? I can't seem to, because it's in this. I got Google Voice. It screws everything up. Can you send that to my email? The M one, not the Gmail one, the other one. And I'm going to see if I can download it and share it. It's voicemail. Let's see. Oh, let me see. Oh. I wonder if I can. Okay, everybody, just hang in there with me, everybody. Gosh, all these things going on here. I have too many tabs open on my computer. Lucky I can find anything. Let's see, you sent me. Oh, here we go. God, I'm going to do all these things. This is, wow, I got all these things open here. Okay, Todd Melanson left a voicemail on Don Priest's phone, and I'm going to share it. And before I do, before anybody freaks out, it's not a bad. It's not really. Don't get too excited, but it's perfectly legal for Don to have shared this with me. It is perfectly legal for me to play it. The reason I say that, a lot of people get freaked out about wiretapping and it's not legal to record people without their consent. Well, when you leave a voicemail, you've given consent and to record, because you're recording. Voicemail is recording. So Dawn passing it on to me, it's her property. She can give it to me and I can play it on YouTube. So it's perfectly legal. But if Todd wants to sue me for this, please do. I really would love to have my day in court with you over anything. It would be fun. So let me see if I can play it. It's nothing earth-shattering, actually, but this is what wait a minute. When was this? Hold on. Okay, when was, gosh, I gotta find, when was this voicemail sent? October 15th. This was October 15th? Okay, so the meeting was on the 17th. So on the 15th was the 15th. What day let me look at what day of the week that was. That was the Wednesday. Okay. The Wednesday before. So he knew, but it wasn't like it was after that he found out. He knew on Wednesday. And okay, so we got all kinds of evidence. This voicemail is going to the AG with my response. How about that? The meeting was on the 20th. You're absolutely right. Okay. Sorry, I got this side conversation going, everybody. But let me see. I got to try to pull this up now. Okay. He's an admin in the group. Yeah, I know. But let me see if I can play this so that everybody can hear it.
Hey, Don, it's Todd Melanson. When you get a second, if you could give me a call, I would really appreciate it. I'd like to correct some information you have on the last post, and give you some information. I can't comment on the post, but I think you need to retract some of that, and I'd like to talk to you as to why. I'm a little bit calmer now. I will be honest, when I read it, it slightly enraged me. And I'd like to talk to you about it first. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to play this again. Oh, shoot. I'm going to get A Christmas Carol is now going to play. Hold on. Okay. Can anybody hear that? Did that play on my channel? Oh, yeah, Dawn, send me everything. Send me text, send me everything. But Dawn, could you hear it on my channel? When I just played the voicemail. Yes. Okay, I'm going to play it again because I wasn't ready for it when I started it and I didn't have the volume up high enough. And I want everybody to listen to this one more time, and then I'm going to comment on it, and then I'm going to play it even again.
Hey, Don, it's Todd Melanson. When you get a second, if you could give me a call, I would really appreciate it. I'd like to correct some information you have on the last post, and give you some information. I can't comment on the post.
And he just said, I can't comment on the post. You know why he can't comment on the post? Because it would be a violation of the open meeting law if he did, because he's the chair of the Townsend Board of Water Commissioners, and he would be commenting. He cannot comment on Facebook on things that apply to anything within his jurisdiction. So he's deciding to harass her. My next question for Dawn. Oh, I can't even see that text. I gotta look. I'm looking at my watch, so I can't see it. I'm gonna have to see what else he sent to her for text. But yeah, this is. I want to know, Dawn, did he call you at work or was this your personal phone? I think this was work.
But I think you need to retract some of that, and I'd like to talk to you as to why. I'm a little bit calmer now. I will be honest, when I read it, it slightly enraged me. And I'd like to talk to you about it first. Thank you.
Okay, so to bring people up to speed, he called her job. I don't know if this voicemail is at her job or on her personal phone. I don't have that answer quite yet from her, but He did oh, that was her personal cell. That particular voicemail was on her personal cell. So, but he did call her at her work as well. And he even called her boss to harass her about that Facebook complaint. So, I'm going to be sending quite a bit of information to the Attorney General about how inappropriate Todd Melanson has been over this Facebook post. And that clearly he said in this voicemail to her on Wednesday afternoon, it was Wednesday afternoon at 4 something, that he left that voicemail. And he said right in the voicemail that he was calmer and that there's no reason. He called my work twice, 6 days apart, 2 bosses, and I chose to tell him to stop sending instead of filing a lawsuit. This is completely this is Todd Melanson, his usual inappropriate self. And he so he had calmed down. He said in this voicemail that he had calmed down. And so this gave him plenty of time to address the Facebook post and actually to address the open meeting law. He could have added to the agenda. And in plenty of time on Thursday. He had all day Thursday to be completely in compliance with the open meeting law, to post the change to the agenda. And it would have even been okay, based on even Todd's own statements in his open meeting law complaint, that it would have been okay to even change the agenda on Friday. It would have been okay to even change it on Monday morning, to actually put it on the agenda. Even though it would be late, it still would have not been the end of the world. It would not have been completely in compliance, but it wouldn't have been, you're just dropping, if the reason the open meeting law is there is, and they say this all the time, the public has a right to know what's going to be discussed at a meeting. If we had known that that was going to be on the agenda or being discussed at the meeting, more people would have tuned in. And instead, they had to find out, like almost a week or a few days. I don't know what date that TCAM finally put the meeting up on the town's YouTube channel. But there were a couple people at this meeting, but they weren't there for that discussion. They were there for something else. And I think many more people would have tuned in to watch the meeting, to hear what he had to say about the Facebook post, or about whatever it was he was going to come up with. And there's he could have put just one bullet point on the agenda to discuss, hey, we're going to talk about the funding for the water treatment plant, or provide an update to funding issues, or provide an update to where we stand with the water treatment facility and its funding. He didn't have to know what he was going to say. He didn't have to have his speech written. He could have just put anything. It could have been water treatment facility funding. 3 words. That's 4 words. He didn't need to do run-on sentences. But this is, and instead he's freaking out. And Dawn's been feverishly sending me texts that he sent her. I'm going to use all these attachments later. I'm not going to pull them up now because we're in a holding pattern. It's almost 5:30. We're still waiting on the Board of Selectmen to come back from their executive session to determine how much of a raise they're going to give Gary for the harassment that he's been receiving from me and others regarding the ethics complaints that are really baseless, according to Gary. And yeah. Oh, yeah. So we shall see what kind of a raise he gets. And I just want to tell everybody, too, that personal contracts like this, they're all public records. Once the contract is signed, it's a public record. So, and I know Gary's in a rush. Gary's in a rush to get this contract taken care of so that no matter what happens with ethics, even if he's criminally indicted, he wants that contract locked in. And I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't negotiating for language that would protect him in his job and everything else, even if he's indicted on something. And I don't have any information that he's going to be indicted on anything. I think that I'm concerned that some of the stuff that's going on here is big enough to lead to an indictment. But I don't have any inside knowledge. I don't have any factual knowledge to say that that's going to happen. But that is concerning to me, that the stuff, just the stuff I read to you yesterday in my 2 live streams that I did, that, yeah, we're shocked. I was really shocked. Some of the stuff that I got yesterday from the Ethics Commission through public records. And I'm going to be asking them for more. I think there's a couple more documents. I specifically asked for the motion to for summary judgment, and so they sent me the motion for summary judgment. They didn't volunteer any more documents, and they wouldn't have. I mean, that's perfectly legitimate that they didn't. But after I slept on it last night, I said, I wonder if there's more documents that are public records. So I didn't have time today. This morning I was out shopping and I barely got back in time to sit here and get this live stream going. And that's why I didn't have more than 5 or 10 minutes to put the notification out that there's a live stream coming. I just throw together that thumbnail for the video and get this thing going. So, and test Zoom to make sure I was going to be able to live stream the meeting. So, I hope that they haven't forgotten about us and they're not back. Oh, I got a cat. I've got one cat locked on the porch. I gotta let him out. All right. I'll tell you, can everybody just stand? Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna step away for just a couple minutes. I'm gonna turn my mic off in a moment. I'm just gonna go let my cat out of the porch because I locked him in there, and I'm gonna go refill my coffee cup. Okay, but I'll be right back. I'll hurry. So just have patience. You can stare at town. I don't have any funny videos I can put up while we're waiting. I don't have anything. I don't. Just don't go anywhere. I promise I'll be right back because we are in a holding pattern for the select board to come back from executive session. Okay, mic is going off. Okay, I'm back. Thanks for waiting for me. Now I got a tickle in my throat. Oh man. Okay, my cat's freaking out. I let him out of the porch. He's trying to figure out what I was doing, then I had to lock him out there. He was sleeping most of the time. But it's getting close to dinner time, so they want food. Or they're kind of wondering what's going to happen. But they're not going to get any until the select board comes back. Because I have to keep you guys entertained for, I don't know how long. I hope they didn't forget about us. I'm going to pull up. See, this is what we're still waiting. The host will admit you when they're ready. So, we're still waiting for them. They will be back because the FinCom is coming up at 6 o'clock. It is 5:36. And yep, I got a new toy. Where'd I put it? Oh, it's in the other room. I got mics. I got those little mics you put on your collar to see how they work. I just got it today. Bought it from Amazon. So I'm going to try using those when I do some of my stuff. And we'll see. I know talking to people, sometimes getting microphones to work right is a challenge. When I'm doing this, like right here, I've got my laptop. That's my whole studio laptop. Green screen behind me, some lighting up here. Yep, see that? And whoops. And now I want to go a little high tech so that when I go out and and I'm talking to people, maybe they'll tolerate me putting a mic on their collar. And if I have one on mine, I got one that has 2 mics, so hopefully we can use them both. And yeah, and hopefully that will help with some of the acoustics. I'm really excited about being able to do this Zoom stuff, live stream, because that takes care of 2 problems that I had. If I go to an actual meeting, there's volume issues, and then there's rebroadcast issues. The pixelate, it just gets weird. So it's just better for me to be able to live stream like this. And if I'm going to I got some programs I'm going to be doing that's going to involve other people, and I'm hoping that we can wear mics. And if you remember, if you watch the video I did with Josh Abrams, we were talking about, well, the lawsuit and everything. And he came to Townsend, and we had that interview style setup, and we were just using his phone, and he has the same issues I do. And I thought maybe he'd have something better, even though we did the same thing a year ago. But I wasn't jumping up and down about the acoustics on that video that we did. But so, and that made me decide that I'm going to try this new microphone thing and try to get, if I do an interview style discussion with somebody, I can have we can have professional little collar mics that they can work a lot better. I'm sorry my throat is so scratchy. I don't know why. What do you know? Wow. So, I'm trying to kill 20 more minutes. What do you want to talk about? I got 7 people in the chat right now that are watching. Does anybody have a topic you want to talk about for 20 minutes? I'm trying to think what else is going on. Karen Reed is suing everybody. There's another lawsuit. She filed another lawsuit. If anybody's still following Karen Reed, It has not stopped going. It's just crazy. Turtle Boys all over the place. Okay. Gary's order. I did that yesterday. I did a whole video last night. I wasn't up till 3 a.m., but I was up I was up pretty late. I did the video on Gary's order. What do you anything? I don't know. Did everybody watch that already? When we're done here, everybody go and watch my live stream. I have 2 live streams from yesterday. One was the motion for summary judgment on David, and then Gary's order to show cause and this the ethics complaints, and those are very enlightening. What else is going on? Let me look at my directory here. I got that. Let's see. Motion, blah, blah. I don't have anything new. I'm looking at. I still haven't gotten my public records request from August. That could go to court. Christmas tree lighting on December 7th at apparently 4:30 p.m. if anybody's interested in that. See, I talked about the schools meeting tomorrow. Oh, I know. Let me look up. I'm doing this all behind the scenes here. Well, let me look. I'm going to look at my emails again. There's nothing earth-shattering about my emails. So let me. Oh, I forgot what I was just going to look up. Oh, I have too many tabs open. Oh, Lord. Townsend. Let's see. Today, this is a very busy day for meetings. While we're sitting here, we've probably missed a couple on other topics. Let me see what else is going on. At 6:30 is the Zoning Board of Appeals. I don't think there's anything exciting there. 6 o'clock, of course, is the FinCom joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen. Council on Aging had a meeting today at 3:15. I didn't watch that because the Select Board was starting at 3:30. At 7 p.m., we have the Conservation Commission. That's an interesting. Oh, I have a story about that, but it's not original agenda posted. Okay. We have a change. See, this is what. Okay. I'm not going to pull it up, but the Conservation Commission did exactly what I said the Water Commissioner should have done. They originally posted their agenda for tonight on November 17th, which would be perfectly fine. And they amended it this afternoon. That's exactly what Todd should have done. And he did not. So there you go. This is how it's done. I don't know what they changed. It would be nice if they tell you what they've changed. Let's see. Doesn't say what they changed. 16 Meadow Road, Meeting House Park Forest Cutting Plan. Free presentation. Okay, I'm planning on recording this meeting. Anyway, I'm going to be doing another live stream when this meeting starts up. I'm going to do a public service announcement for the
This meeting is being recorded.
Holy shit. Wait a minute.
Hi, everyone.
Oh my God.
We are back. I am resuming our select board meeting coming out of executive at 5:46 PM, November 19th, 2025.
Yeah, I gotta find the volume on this and put them down.
Roll call, please, to resume.
Veronica Cal present.
Valerie Goodrich, present.
Laura Schifrin here. We are on 5.1.
Can I just mention something? So we do have a 6 o'clock
Yes,
joint meeting, which we'll have to get through, and then we'll have to, so I think a lot of the items we will have to skip. So we have to be mindful of the time, and then we also have to
I'll work
adjourn.
it out.
We have to adjourn into executive session. And I think we'll have to wrap things up about 6:45 so that the next meeting at 7 can, they can start prepping for that meeting.
The next meeting in this room is at 7.
Yes.
Okay,
So I
thank you.
think at 6:45 is a hard stop for us. So
Oh.
just something
All
to
right.
keep in mind.
Okay, we'll try to address each one as quickly as we can. 5.1, first reading of the town council policy, legal policy.
Policy number 7, 2025, a revised policy 4, 2018 by the select board. The purpose, the select board and town administrator agreed to establish a consistent process for use of legal counsel. Policy, town council, policy, use of legal counsel. A request for legal services form must be filled out and returned to the select board's office before the use of legal counsel can be utilized. This process is necessary in order to track expenses and for budgeting purposes. Authorization must be obtained from the town administrator and or their designee before town council can be accessed. All boards and commissions other than the select board must have a vote authorizing the request before authorization is provided. It is preferred for town council services to be virtual or via phone call. The sole exceptions to this rule are for the select board and are as follows. Number 1, the chair of the select board or the select board through majority vote shall have direct access to request town council to attend a meeting of the select board. Any member seeking legal advice on a matter shall have direct access to town council. Number 2, any select board member seeking legal advice on a matter shall have direct access to the council. It seems like a repeat. All members of the
It
select
does.
board.
No, it's not.
Oh,
The first one is to attend the meeting,
Oh,
Okay,
gotcha.
right.
Yes,
Very
okay,
good.
sorry.
just
Very
general.
good.
And I'm reading. Number 3, all members of the select board requesting ethics opinions, conflict of interest law shall have direct access to town council. They do not need to copy the chair of the select board on such inquiries, and town council shall respond to the member directly without copies to other members of the select board. Number 4, members of the select board shall notify the town administrator of each contact for budget purposes. However, they are not required to explain the content.
Discussion? I think everything is there. Move to second reading on December 2nd.
Yes. I don't think we need a motion.
We don't need a
for that.
motion though, right? To just move it to the next agenda for
No.
second reading.
I don't think so.
Okay. 5.2, review and discuss report restructuring of departments. Nelson?
So, the select board had tasked me with, taking a look at, potentially restructuring, or the creation of a Department of Public Works. I have included a report that I've completed for the select board. I think at the time, at the moment, after reviewing the DLS report that was created back in January of 2016 and talking to highway facilities, cemetery and parks, and, the recycling center or health departments. I don't think creating a Department of Public Works is, that's not my recommendation at the moment. And some of the biggest reasons is I don't see actually a lot of savings involved. And the reason for that is a lot of these departments, either one staff member and maybe some fractional part-time help. There's not a ton of full-time employees. In each of these departments. So, if you were to create a new Department of Public Works, you would either have to elevate a current department head into that role, which would mean probably a bump in their salary, or if you were to hire someone external, that would mean an increase in headcount, which means an increase in expenses. So I think either option, you're not going to see any savings in that regards. I know another consideration was, sharing of manpower and resources, which honestly is something that all those departments I mentioned earlier already do to a pretty big extent. Like I said, most of these departments have very limited staff anyways, so whenever there's,
Actually, I have some notes on there.
whenever there's a need for additional personnel or manpower, departments calling each other to backfill the need. So I think, given how lean all of our departments are, I just don't see any cost savings a Public Works Department would actually save.
Okay, I respect the fact that right now, today, is not, implementing this today is not the idea. The idea is to look at the structure overall. I could see where you have someone at the DPW town engineer, DPW supervisor, or whatever you want to call it. The TA would be that person now, which you are effectively. And then an administrative assistant, one, full-time for all the departments. Each of the departments has a department head, as they do now. And then a pool of people who are your temporary people now, but might not be in the future, and who are vetted by each of the departments. So they have what they need to do what the Cemetery and Parks Department have. They have whatever licensing or certifications they need to do what the Highway Department needs. They need, water I kind of set on the outside. I don't know how water fits, but what I really wanted, at least me, and my goal on this, was to have a new structure, and I still want that. I don't want it implemented today, but I want to know the timeline for implementation. I think for all those temporary folks, whatever their job description is, I can see rewriting that job description as a single job description that allows people to work in each of the departments, including the recycling center, because I know that sometimes Cemetery and Parks has to send people over there to do whatever heavy equipment operation needs to happen because there isn't someone over there who can do it and it needs to be done. But I would like to see that as a something that's put in place with a timeline for, so what do we need to do to make this happen?
Like no hiring or firing right now.
No, exactly. But as attrition goes, how do you move into that structure? And I do think that it can provide cost savings over time. Maybe not for FY27, but for me, that wasn't the goal. And if we need someone, if we need to hire or get a project going with the Collins Center or somewhere to build that structure, I would like to have that done. It's been talked about for 10 years and it's never happened because no one's ever done it, because no one's ever done it, because you have to do it, I suppose.
Well, again, to one of my original
So I don't
points,
disagree with the written point,
Yeah.
but
I just think, given how lean each department that we're looking to fold into a public works department, you know, it's, you know, when you're consolidating, you're basically consolidating, what's the word? You know, I don't want to call it fat, but it's like redundancies. And there are, you know,
Well,
these.
the higher salary is more than the lower, so you get more employees on the lower level than in the higher level. Actual workers versus the.
I'm even
oversight.
thinking things like, you know, you have facilities projects that are winter-based, painting, interior stuff, and is there a potential for actually getting people that have more hours throughout the year, if they're parks and cemeteries and more temporary summer help? Are there chances that, and then you get in a position where you're more likely to retain people? If you can offer them, or I know that, you know, the highway superintendent would like to not have to hire plow contractors, right? Like Pepperell does.
Right. Well,
Just thoughts.
yeah, but you know, part of my report did say that a current area that we probably could realize some savings is in the snow and ice operations. You know, currently, the highway department are the only ones sending out trucks with plows. But we actually do have other pieces of equipment that could do that. That's currently not being utilized.
Definitely should be doing
So,
that.
you know, I think,
At parks and cemeteries?
yeah, Parks and Cemetery, I think, has at least one, maybe even two. You know, the water department, I believe, might have another piece. So those are the areas that I can talk to these department heads to see, you know, how we can alleviate the manpower shortage that the highway currently has to deal with snow and ice operations.
Definitely.
You know,
Well, that's for now, and we may need to rewrite job descriptions if we're gonna have water people plowing, or we're gonna have,
Parks and cemetery.
I mean, I think there's more to it
well,
than,
we were thinking initially it would be voluntary. So, you know, it would, you would either do it as overtime, which may, there might not be as many restrictions in terms of having to rewrite job descriptions since it's voluntary, and also, you know, overtime. It's not
Can
like
you do
hard.
that as?
Voluntary?
As union?
Well, if you're, but more like if you're already plowing the cemetery, right? Can you go and plow town hall and the library and
Well, I was thinking, you know,
along those lines of, you know, it's something that's already, someone's doing it.
Yeah.
I think that maybe it's that kind of.
well, yeah, I was thinking the municipal parking lots would be one area that we can have other town
then there
staff.
needs to be a side letter. Because otherwise someone can grieve that they're made to do something that isn't in their job description.
So those are written by.
I think we could, I don't know, I at least would like to see a long-term, what needs to be changed for this I would like to see it happen. And I would like, I understand today not doing it for, I mean, I just want a plan, because I think in the long term, there needs to be a plan. And it's not just gonna be, you're gonna run with 3 people short, you know, or 2 people short, and the roads aren't gonna get plowed. Because we have, well, we're gonna have our meeting, but we have a deficit every year. And we are not a town that is gonna vote for an override historically. And so if that's the case, something has to be done to alleviate this. We are already bare bones as far as expenses go. I just, I think more thought
Thank you.
needs to go into how it's gonna.
We are at 6 o'clock, and I'll call the joint meeting portion of this meeting with the Finance Committee on November 19th, 2025 at 6 p.m. for our notice. Roll call vote. Excuse me, forget the vote. Roll call announcement.
We're opening the meeting.
We are opening the joint meeting.
Veronica Cal present.
Valerie Goodrich present.
Laura Schifrin present. Finance, would you like to approach?
We can.
Nelson, are
Do
you
you
gonna put
guys
stuff
wanna
up
move
there?
down a little bit? Maybe they can move,
Excuse me?
Are you gonna put stuff up there so I can make
so
space
they
there?
can move. Don, so nice to see you.
Thank
Been a while.
It has.
Where am I going to now?
All the information is in a different place.
Nelson, I'll let you lead.
Well, call the finance committee to order at 6:01 PM. Roll call attendance, please.
Carolyn Bezick is here. Carol Hoff is here. Kathleen Spofford here. Mary Jane Churchville here.
John Hay, present. With that, we have 5 members. We have a quorum. We are good to continue. Was the other meeting started with the question about recording, or do we need to? Okay, then we're good there. And we can move on to the agenda. The joint meeting with select board and the finance team.
So I think there are 3 main components of tonight's meeting. ClearGov will be joining us momentarily for about a 15-minute, 20-minute presentation on sort of the budgeting software that ClearGov can provide to the town. We're talking about some budgeting documents, for the upcoming fiscal year, and sort of sharing the financial outlook for FY27 and beyond. And I do have our town assessor here, our town accountant is online, and our town treasurer collector is also online joining us. If there's any particular questions, sort of in their, arena, so to speak. I do see here that ClearGov, Tyler Shepard is the representative from ClearGov. TCAM, are you able to give Tyler Shepard sharing privileges this evening?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So why don't we start off the joint meeting with a 15-20 minute presentation from Tyler Shepard from ClearGov.
Perfect. Thank you, Nelson. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for letting me join. Let me see if I'm able to share here. Okay. Let's see if this works. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Again, thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. I'm Tyler with ClearGov. I know I'm not the highlight of this meeting, so I'll definitely try to go quickly. We are actually
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
Good idea for this. I'll go through a quick overview of who we are and what we do. I'll get into a live demo of our software. If anybody has any questions at all, please jump in and ask. If you have any follow-up questions, you can always ask me. I've been working with Nelson over the past few months as well, so you can certainly use him as a resource. I certainly like to start with our mission. So we create easy-to-use software to help governments budget better. Pretty straightforward, but that's built into everything that we do. That's actually exactly what our co-founders set out to do almost about a decade ago. So we've been around for a little over 10 years. We're actually located in Massachusetts. We have our HQ in Maynard. We currently have about 79 counties and cities we work with in the state of Massachusetts. Right before I got on this call, I looked up how many other customers are in the surrounding states. It looked like it was 256 to be exact. And then we have just over about 1,400 total customers in the United States. So that does make us the biggest public sector budget cycle management company within the United States as well. A couple other things to note. We've built our platform based around the GFOA best practices. We're endorsed by the National Association of Counties. And we in fact have a lot of former finance directors that we've hired here and brought them in on our staff. So if you were to work with us, you'd also be working with a lot of other finance directors from other cities and counties as well. In terms of what we actually offer, so we have 8 different modules. They all integrate and they all work together. That's the beauty of having, this modular solution that we have. Our customers can choose, what they need and only that. If they need to add something more into the future, or if things change internally, they can always remove modules as well. So that's why we have this kind of modular system. Everybody's a little bit different in how they work and what their needs are. Today, Nelson and I discussed, we're going to walk through the personnel and the operational budgeting modules and then quickly go through our digital budget book module as well. After this call, I'm going to be providing everybody with a really short demo video of each of our modules. So if there's anything that you'd like to look at today that you see on the screen that's not personnel. Oh, you know what? I don't even think I clicked through this. I apologize. If there's anything that you don't see that's aside from personnel and operational and then the digital budget book. So any of these other modules, I'll certainly provide you with a short demo. All right, so jumping in, we're going to start with the personnel budgeting demo. This is our dashboard. A lot of great information on this dashboard. I'm actually going to come back to this here in about 3 minutes because everything's really driven by the data model manager. So this is when a customer signs up with us. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up the data model manager, right? So we're looking at everything broken down by unit right now. So community development, community services, public safety, so on and so forth. And you can dive into the wage schedules. You can look at the additional pay. You can look at the benefits. I'm just going to kind of walk you through these other sections. So wage schedules, you can look into, for instance, like the public works salaries or any of these other units. Additional pay. So you can put in things like holiday pay or vehicle allowances, a lot of times for public safety, cell phone allowances. And then you build out the benefits as well. So on the back end, I don't want to walk through all of those, but they look very similar, right? So you're going to assign to these different units and you have options to build out what each section looks like. So for benefits, obviously, there's usually going to be different options. So you can build those out as needed. You can always add options in as well. After you have your data model manager mapped and correctly built out, we're going to want to import all of the positions, so all of your people. We can do that with a bulk upload and assign all those people to different positions. So on the back end, once that's done, so you work with our data team to get that uploaded. And once that's complete, as you dive into each position, this is what you're going to see on the back end. So at the very hot, at the top, from a high level, you're going to see the total blended compensation. You're going to see what positions they have as well. So they can have more than one positions. We can also do personnel budgets by employee budgeting or position budgeting. So whichever way you do it, we have a different configuration of how you can set that up. Obviously, you're going to see the information like their names and the position IDs. We can have different steps and grades as well. As I scroll down more, you're going to see budget classifications, position details, and this is where you see their benefits, additional pays, all associated with the person. So just to kind of recap, we set up the data model manager, we applied everything to our people. And now there's a couple other options, right? You can go ahead and build out your scenarios in terms of plan, or how are we going to make these decisions with our personnel budget? Or you could also include other people to make requests. So within our request manager system, you can add different departments, different department heads that can make different requests. You can have them make requests over a 1 year period, a 5 year period, 10 year periods, however long you want to look out. And then we also have a scenario builder. So you could build out multiple scenarios. So right here, for example, we have a negotiation scenario, proposed, and baseline. So for instance, if we were in some sort of negotiation scenario, and we were just looking at the, let's say, the public safety department, we could look at making a permanent adjustment or maybe a one-time adjustment. Maybe we're going to look at for the year of 2026 for their wages, we're going to make a 3% increase. And then dynamically, you're going to see throughout the system how that impacts 2026 and then 2027, 2028, 2029, so on and so forth, right? So think of this as like the digital sandbox instead of flipping back and forth between different spreadsheets and trying to figure out, what type of decisions we can make. We have it all in one system within our scenario builder. We have an audit trail of everything that happens along the way too. So people that make requests or approve anything or make any changes, you can refer back to that. And then from like a review perspective, we create this nice, easy, little dashboard that everybody can use. So from high level, you can select what scenario you want to look at and which year you want to look at. You could break this down further by unit or fund type. And then you're going to see the high level information across the top. And then as you go down, you'll see the personnel costs. And then it's broken down by unit, fund type, and fund. You can see vacancies filled, future new hires, and then those accepted new position requests as well. And of course, if you're looking, just like this says, if you're looking for more detailed information, we do have a reports builder. So you can build out some pretty detailed and custom reports as well. Those are all exportable. So if you needed to get any information back into your ERP system, a lot of our customers use that as well. Jumping into operational budgeting. So obviously the personnel budget is part of that operational budgeting. These modules do connect. So you could pull your personnel budgeting scenario directly into the operational budgeting module. Once you do that, there's a couple different options of how you see things from a dashboard perspective. So right now, we're looking at the fiscal year 2026 budget, and you can see it broken down by revenues and expenditures. And if you drop down further, you can see this broken down by fund. And then we have these different columns on the dashboard. You can configure these columns. You could group by specific columns as well if you needed to. So you can kind of create that dashboard view that you're all used to. Or if you're having a specific meeting and want to focus in on something, you can certainly do that. How this works. So from a collaboration perspective, we have editors. Think of those as like your administrators, the people that are going to be making the actual decisions. The contributors, those are folks that are going to be, submitting information, right? So you can assign them to submit a budget, and then you can, as you invite them, you could, determine, are they able to add new accounts or new itemizations, or maybe they're a department head that have people under them and they want to add some other people as collaborators as well. So there's a lot of different options when you add those contributors. You can also add people as reviewers. So if you just want somebody to be able to come in here and view the budget as it stands, or specific requests, you could certainly do that. From a contributor's perspective, actually, let's go back here. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you just how this kind of works. when we add a contributor here, oh, looks like somebody's jumping in. What you're going to do when you add a collaborator is you're going to assign them an account or set of accounts, right? So for example, and you saw me just group a column up. So there's options to kind of organize this as you see fit. So let's say we want to assign the police department to somebody in here. So it was going to be Brian Burdick. And you want them to be able to submit the budget, add new accounts, and then you can add these different options essentially for what you want them to be able to do or what you want them to be able to view. Once you add them, they're going to get an email that's going to prompt them to create a username if they haven't already. And then what we do as a company is we set up a online training for any department heads that you want to have included. And once they get that email, they're going to understand how to log in. Once they essentially are assigned their accounts, how do they view those accounts and how do they make the requests? Once they submit those requests, it's going to go to obviously that administrator or whoever is going to be reviewing and accepting, rejecting, or making the final edits. And then once you make those edits, you can view everything on the dashboard view as well. From a, let's see, digital budget book perspective, I guess we'll just go back right here. So digital budget book is going to do a few things. Obviously, once you're done with your budgeting process, we want to bring that into the digital budget book. Think of this as your tool to build your digital budget book based off of GFOA standards. And this is how you're going to display your budget. There is a couple different options. You can bring in your budget from your ERP system if you're not using our budgeting modules. If you are using our budgeting modules, obviously it's just a click of a button and everything imports. The way that this works when you create a digital budget book, when you create a new one, you're going to go through a process of kind of adding your operating budget. You could add a capital budget as well. And then you can create essentially it's going to give you some functionality to create what type of budget book you want based off of a specific template, right? So for you all, it would be that GFOA template that we have. So if I go into, let's just look into this sample budget book. It's going to take you to essentially this digital budget book that you can go ahead and edit as you see fit. So it's going to create, once we have all the data on the back end, it's going to create all of the budget information in terms of like fund summaries. You can see general funds. It's going to have department summaries, capital funds. As I dive into this, so let's just show an example. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. So if we're looking at this expenditure summary from the Public Works Department, our system is going to automatically generate these interactive charts and graphs. Within these charts and graphs, you have a lot of options, right? If you don't want this, you can hide it. We have AI built in that's going to help you generate narratives. So it actually reads the data and it'll generate a narrative that you can then obviously edit as you fit. So the speed of finishing your budget book to getting to that finished published budget book is a lot faster with our digital budget book tool. It's very easy to add different sections and different blocks as well. So for instance, if you wanted to add a block, you could add it like this. And then what you can do is insert a chart or a spreadsheet. You can upload a photo, add a timeline or text, and then obviously edit as you see fit. So just as you use Microsoft Word or Google Docs, it has the exact same functionality in building this out. We can also bring in collaborators. So if you wanted somebody to edit a certain section or a subsection within your digital budget book, you can absolutely assign that to them. We also have a GFOA checklist built in as well. So if that is something, an award that you eventually would like to go after, we're going to give you a checklist of everything you need to do, and you can keep track with notes as you go down the list. In terms of an example of what a finished digital budget book looks like, I just pulled this from a customer of ours in Pennsylvania. Once it's published, absolutely, we can still pull it via PDF, and this is a published version online, so anybody in the community can pull this as well. But we have these different sections. So instead of scrolling through, 100 pages and trying to find different sections, you can, go through the budget book in a more intuitive way and find what you're looking for. Just like the charts and graphs on the back end, they're all interactive. So people can kind of see the things that they want to see, interact the way that they want to interact, hover over different charts and graphs and get kind of like that more granular information they might be looking for. So that is that'll conclude the summary of all three of those. So Nelson, I don't know if you want to open it up for questions or if you want me to kick off, I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah, I think we have the select board and the finance committee here tonight, so, I think if they had any questions, it'd be a great time to, ask them directly to ClearGov. Not that we couldn't do it afterwards, but certainly, it's a live interactive session, so if there's any questions or anything they want to look at further.
Sure.
Is this only for expenditures and not income? Or does it capture the income?
Revenue, yeah, there's revenue.
There's revenue on
correct.
it? Okay.
Yep.
So how much does it cost?
That's the big question, is it?
I guess.
let me
Depends on the
see.
module.
Yeah, so it depends on the modules. Each module there is a cost to it. I've had Tyler prepare sort of two versions at the moment. One version is just the operating and the personnel. And then the other version is operating the personnel and the digital budget book that you see in front of you. There's also a fourth one that I think we can probably forego at the moment, but we can certainly consider it. It's the capital budgeting one. Given we're such a small town, we don't really have a very large capital budget, over the next 5 years. So I think that's something we can probably just do in-house, with Excel. We can certainly explore adding it to the package, but I think for the time being, to save on money, we can probably skip the capital budgeting module for now. At least that's my kind of recommendation, to save on money.
So how much is it?
Thank
You
you.
want me to go through that, Nelson?
Sure.
Okay. So thank you for asking that question. Just to let you know how our pricing works, we have an onboarding setup fee. Obviously, there's an implementation process. Usually lasts about 4 to 6 weeks, so we are pretty quick in getting everybody up and running. We also have an annual subscription, noting that working with Nelson, if you would potentially start on January 1, noting that your fiscal year ends in June, we offer prorated pricing. So if we were looking at, and actually before I go there, the last consideration I'll say is we do have bundle pricing. So if we just did 2 modules, it would be a 15% bundle discount. With the 3 modules, it would be 20%. So just throwing that out there, that's why these numbers are actually not too far away from each other. So if we were looking for at the operational and personnel budgeting modules from January 1 through the end of June, the cost would be $9,685. So that's the prorated cost for 6 months. The full subscription is $19,370. What that prorated cost allows you to do is essentially sign up for 6 months. And then just like every other customer that we have, they have the option to cancel at the end of each term. So the prorated term is 6 months, and then after that, it's just a year to follow. So if you wanted to cancel at the end of each year after that, you'd have the chance to do that. So that's the pricing for those. If we were looking at,
So I have a question.
sure.
What's the 9,600 include? Is that the setup, the implementation, the subscription, the bundle? I mean, what do you get for the 9,000 for 6 months?
Yep, that's going to handle everything from your subscription perspective. The one-time setup fee is $7,650, and we decided we could push that to July 1. So if you didn't renew with us after those 6 months, we obviously aren't going to bill you for it, but we would push that cost out a little bit. Almost gives you kind of like a 6-month trial, if you will.
So the 9,600 does not include the setup fee of 7,650, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
But you will set us up anyway.
That's right. We're just pushing the cost out to make sure that
Okay, what's that
you're
mean?
happy with us.
Yeah, what
You
does
could
that
set
mean?
up without price for this year, and then we would pay that third fee.
No, I
next year.
understand that
For the
part. I'm
next
asking
year,
what the
yeah.
setup is. Is it, does it have to be all manual, or can stuff be uploaded from what's already existing in our systems, or do we have to start from scratch and put everything in?
I was gonna say, that's pretty much, the question is, how does the data have to be formatted for the load? It's
Yeah.
kind of like, how's it come out of, say, Vadar,
Right,
Vader?
whatever we have, so, yeah.
And it's kind of like, and get into this. It's kind
Yeah,
of like,
because I think that's critical, because, does everybody have people to do it?
Mhm.
Consideration.
Well, that's the accounting team and.
Yeah, with
Oh, they have
enter
enough
from the
people to do
budget.
this, okay,
I mean,
okay,
but we could upload it. That would be way quicker.
wouldn't it?
well, it is, but we have to.
Yeah, but can we? It's a
kind of like-
question.
And validation of after an upload, how do you?
Tyler, can
validate
you?
you've got in
Yeah,
the
that
system
you
what
did it correctly.
Right, it's kind of like, do we have what we want today and what we have today and what it looks like? So that when it's voted, you can confirm that you're seeing the same thing.
But can you do that? Can you do the upload regardless of the information is right or wrong? Tyler,
Well, I'm sorry, what's the question?
yeah, can we upload from our existing system, or do we have to do all the data entry manually?
Oh, no. It's a data upload. So you would work with our data team for about 2 weeks. That's really the first step in the onboarding process. Like I said earlier, those finance directors that we've hired, that's pretty much our whole data team. So you'd be working with finance directors from cities and counties. They're going to help you do a couple things. They're going to help you map the data and map your accounts properly in our system. And they're going to make sure that the exports that you're pulling out of your ERP are mapping correctly into our system. And it will also create specialized reports to make sure if you need to push any data back into your ERP, that we map those reports for you as well.
And that's included as the setup fee that we're not gonna pay for 6 months, correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Just, no surprise.
Does it have the ability to create custom fields if there's a field in our ERP that we want to export and see into the ClickUp?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So you can build custom custom fields within the budgeting modules and do exactly what you just described there as well. Yep.
Hi.
So-
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's Melissa Dunnett, the treasurer collector. Hi.
Hi.
So can you upload documents, for example, like payroll documents or budget documents, for example, each GL account number, the description might be office supplies, and I might want to put in a description of what is being charged to that expense line. So 2 questions. Can you upload documents, for example, back up to budget requests? Okay.
You can. That's correct.
And there's a space to write notes next to a budget line item.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And
I
within the
just-
system, there's collaboration functionality, so you can leave comments, notes, attachments. You can add people to any requests as well, and as collaborators.
Okay. Is this in the cloud?
Yes, it's in the cloud.
Just checking. And in downloading data, can it be downloaded to Excel easily? Or do we have to just create a new report?
I guess define easily. I would say yes. I would say yes, but I'm
click.
not sure what you're looking for.
So, sometimes I'm really familiar with Excel, so I like to download things into Excel.
Yep.
Get rid of things. It might be easier, quicker for me than doing it within the system itself. So like a click that says download to Excel, download to PDF sort of thing.
Right. And let me just clarify, unless
We might want to upload it back into, Harper's, which is our payroll system.
Gotcha. Right. Heard of
Two-way
that
street.
before. I know we have a number of clients using that as well.
Yeah.
What would you specifically be looking to export? Are you talking about the entire budget?
Me personally, treasurer collector payroll information, maybe.
Got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I might show you real quick. Probably be easier too. So within the personnel budget, let's just go into this one, our report builder, and I can send you a list of these. So you can go in and create a custom report. But we have all of these 6, pretty basic but very detailed reports that you can automatically pull. And so in terms of ease of pulling this, export, and you Excel, CSV, whatever you want to put it in, and then it pulls. So that's
I might want to send it to someone as an attachment.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm assuming that's a popular feature if you wanted to. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you. Thank you, Kyle.
Of course. If you have any other questions, Melissa, you can reach out.
Tyler, I think we're getting towards the end of our allotment, so maybe we'll have time for one question, and then we can.
Yeah, hi Tyler, Callie Huff. I'm just wondering, can you program recurring or even escalating projections into it from year to year into the scenario builder?
Are you talking about the personnel budget or the operational budget?
Well, I had a different question about the operational budget, but either one.
Yes, you can. There's a couple different ways to do it. We have steps where you can set up different steps and progressions. But in the scenario tool, you can absolutely set up different progressions and different rule sets as you need to.
And then can I push my luck and ask another question? Since you mentioned the operational budget. And John had asked about customizing fields, but can you customize the actual columns in the module? Like, can you add a column
In what view?
in the operational budget?
In like a report, or what would we be looking at?
When you were back in the beginning, when you were showing, you went from personnel to the operational segment. Yeah, in here, can you add columns?
Yeah, you can add columns, so you can see these are pinned here. So if you need to add additional columns, you certainly can. And these also are filterable as well. So if you wanted to come in here, say, filter from high to low, or only look at a specific fund, you have some capabilities, and you can sort from high to low in here as well. So you can kind of customize whatever view you're trying to get to.
And I know you showed us some reports, static reports, but it has a report builder, right?
Yep.
Or pay for those individually?
Yep. Our reports in operational are a little more built out as well. So you can see these standard reports, but we also group it by ERP reports and then any custom reports as well. So when when you choose a custom report, you have a description, you can choose a template, and then you can, after you choose that template, you can bring in additional fields of data or take out additional fields of data as well.
Okay,
Thank you, Tyler. I'll work with you offline. I think you mentioned there was like mini videos that dives a little bit deeper into each module. So if you share that with me, I'll share it with the finance committee and select board, and that way they can sort of take a look at it, when they have additional time.
Sure.
if anybody has questions, they can send them to Nelson, and Nelson will get that to Tyler.
Yep. Thank you so much for your time tonight, Tyler.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, you too. Take care.
Hard stuff.
Yeah, so the select board does have a hard stop about 6:45, 6:50 at the latest, because there's another meeting here, Conservation Commission. So I'll,
Is that it, Chris?
no, yeah. Melissa,
Because she was last talking.
yeah, so I'll go over sort of what I have projected as our long-term financial outlook. Certainly FY '27 is sort of at the forefront at the moment. With the assessor, the treasurer collector, and the accountant, where their pieces fit into play is, with the treasurer collector, we have the sort of the long-term debt schedule in place, the retirement, the Middlesex County retirement contribution that we annually put in. For the assessors, we have sort of the new growth and some of the overlay figures in play. And then with the town accountant's office, we have sort of the local receipts and what kind of trend we're seeing in that arena. So when you kind of put everything together, I've kind of come up with a very preliminary 5-year outlook for the town. I'll share that screen with everyone at the moment so we can just take a look at it. Got bigger. So I just want to caveat by saying these are just very preliminary figures. Any slight change to the budget can, really change how things look like. 1 second. Two computers at the same time. Let's see here. So on the right-hand side, those are kind of my assumptions at the moment. And again, this is subject to change, but I'm just doing some sensitivity analysis in terms of what those percentage changes will do to the budget. I'm assuming a 3% increase to the general fund, 3% increase to the school budget, 3% increase to the tech school assessment. The overlay, I'm projecting about a 4% increase, and that's mainly due to sort of that CPI that we put into play. But again, all these percentages are dynamic. I can change them as needed. The cherry sheet offsets and the state assessments, that's at 2%. Cherry sheet receipts, which is state aid, that's really been at 2% pretty consistently. Enterprise indirect cost, that's the water. I'm assuming a 4% increase. Local receipts, that's local revenue. It can be anywhere from excise tax to meal taxes to building inspection fees, I'm expecting, I'm just putting in 3% at the moment. Let's see. The other revenues like ambulance receipts, money from Title V and the reading room, I've kind of kept static at the moment. The one area that also might go up is solid waste, the enterprise fund that we've set up. So when you kind of look at everything as a whole, with those assumptions, starting at FY27, I'm expecting a $272,000 shortfall, and then it increases year after year because, the deficits basically follow each other year after year. Now, these are very conservative projections. If you recall, I was projecting the school budget to increase by 3%. I honestly don't think it's going to be at 3%. Just as a quick math, it's at 3% now. If I increased it by just 1%, that increases the deficit by about $150,000. So every percentage point on the school budget, for example, will increase that bottom line deficit by about $150,000. We have seen, the school budgets come in at roughly 5 or 6%. So I think that number, a $272,000 deficit can quickly balloon upwards of $500,000 pretty quickly.
And income will not.
Correct. That's the issue that Townsend is facing, and frankly, most cities and towns are facing. State aid is kind of static at about 2%. We're not a community that experiences a lot of growth, because there's not a lot of new houses being built, not a lot of new neighborhoods or developments being
Or
built.
businesses coming in either.
Correct. So yeah, we don't have a really.
What are you projecting at growth, Nelson, per year?
120.
I'm sorry, yeah.
120.
New growth, 120,000 per year.
Yeah.
Nelson, can I ask you a question? On
Yeah.
that first column, that's 26. The overlay can't be 120.
Well, it's down here, the HERO Act, 75,000. That's,
Oh, you're putting it in separately?
well, that's how we had built the budget.
Because we built this year's budget.
Because we didn't know what the vote was
because we
gonna be.
didn't-
Yeah, so I made it a true separate line, and then as you can see in 27, I added those two, and it's the 205. So yes, so I did take that into account. So, like I said, this is a very dynamic analysis. I change any of these numbers, on the right-hand side there, and it's gonna change that bottom line pretty significantly. Like I said, just the North Middlesex school assessment right now is at 3%. I put in 4%. That bottom line deficit is going to immediately be increased by $150,000. So, as we get more information, I can start sort of plugging it in here, but I think, I guess the general messaging I wanted to share is that, unless something dramatic changes, we're going to see pretty significant deficits over the next 5 years. So,
And cuts, so.
yeah, well, I don't know. This is just looking without anything changing. Changes will need to be made in order to get a balanced budget. I don't know what those changes would be. It's probably a combination of many things, but this is just kind of a baseline, assessment of the current, financial,
It gives us a realistic place to start.
yeah, correct.
I get it a little bit. I'm looking at, and you mentioned snow and ice earlier. This year, the budget is gonna be a lot tighter than it has been in the past. There may not be free cash for snow and ice to cover it. Not to mention the other things we might use free cash for.
Correct.
So that can add to this. these numbers
Absolutely.
right away, because that's something that I haven't seen. There's not the number in there for what we paid.
We don't have any
Just
free
don't-
cash right now, right?
It's-
Nothing left.
Nothing, yeah.
It's
nothing.
it's right now with the state being certified. So I think in the coming weeks, we will see an actual figure. being
For FY
certified.
25, so nothing from before that.
So like I said, this is a very dynamic sort of analysis,
Yep.
you know, but again, I think the general trend is, you know, we're gonna be seeing some deficits unless we make some changes.
Yeah, I was gonna say there were some things, I'll send them off to you in an email that we looked at the BVA in the last month, in October, and there was some pretty high numbers, especially like the IT budget, or, a lot further along, like at 50% rather than something closer to 33
Okay, well,
at this point.
yeah.
So it's kind of like, and that's something we really need to watch this year, because we did cut so many budgets, and there's not, we had 50,000 in the reserve fund last year, we don't have that this year. So
Right, it's
there's
down
not-
to 40,000.
Yeah, so as an area where we cut back and didn't put in, that's really not what reserve funds for. It's kind of like, so we need to be watching that and adjusting.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep. So I think, yeah, the next 5 years, you know, and certainly, you know, we're more concentrating on FY 27. As, you know, the budgets comes in, I think we should all be prepared to, you know, probably make some tough choices to get to a balanced budget. You know, override, you know, we can certainly try for another one depending on how it's structured, you know, but that's really up to the board to make that decision, but I think that's kind of always an option on the table. You know, could be any combination, you know, in our toolbox to get to a balanced budget. So, but this is a good baseline to sort of work off of. I'm gonna continually update things as, you know, I get more information, but again, this is a pretty good baseline to, you know, you know, it's not a pretty picture in the next 5 years. But I think we kind of all knew that, you know, we can't be using one-time revenue to sort of offset the operating budget, and things are, you know, eventually it catches up with you.
Right.
And, you know, I think last year we were kind of in that situation, but, you know, we did the trash bag program, which kind of helped things along, but, you know, you know, you're still gonna see, you know, some of these substantial deficits, even with those changes that we've made. So,
I have a question.
yes, Melissa.
Yeah, what was your assumption on salaries? Because we're negotiating. Did you do 2%, 4%? Did you?
I
what was
didn't
your
get-
assumption?
I didn't get into that kind of minutia. I just assumed the 3% increase in the operating budget.
Okay,
You know, you know, we haven't started negotiations yet with the union, so, I don't know how that's gonna pan out, but I can easily, you know, increase, the operating budget, you know, from 3% to 4%, or, you know, adjust up or down, so.
Can you just reiterate for everybody, which unions we're negotiating with for FY 27?
It would be, clerical, supervisor union, highway water, and the fire department.
And
we-
also
and
police.
The
Police is
police,
outstanding.
the
Police
police
is-
is out of contract.
So
at the
all
moment.
5 unions are in
Yeah.
negotiation will be in negotiation for FY 27, basically.
In FY 26, because we're out of contract, there could be a retro payment.
right. There's the evergreen clauses, so you have to give them their steps. Then, yeah, what you just said. And then, of course, you've got individual contracts, obviously, and personnel policies and procedures. Okay.
Yeah, so again, I haven't really taken, you know, the unions, upcoming union negotiations into account. But I can always adjust my model. But
Yep.
again, you know, it's too premature be putting something on paper when we haven't even, gone to the bargaining table yet with the unions.
So question, Nelson, you said if the, school went up 1%, it would be $150,000. If the overall budget went up 1%, where are we at? That would increase it from 3% to 4%. What's the dollar amount? 1% of 31 million?
No, I would look at the budget, the first line.
Oh,
If you
sorry,
put
20. Yeah.
On operating budget and go 1% of that.
Yeah, 1%
Yeah,
is
there
about
it is. Sorry, I
275,000.
lost the number in the, I'm trying to find it. Okay, so the total operating budget, 28 million, add a percentage. That would be the cost. Okay, I was just looking for a number. Thank you.
That's the rough math, if
Yeah.
just like, a rough estimate of what just a 1% bump would equal to. So yeah, about $285,000 is, a 1% bump. So that was kind of the analysis that I've been working on, with the input from, again, the town accountant's office, treasurer collector, and the assessor's office. So a lot of moving parts, but I think that's the general financial outlook for the next 5 years. So I know that was a lot to take in, but we can discuss further offline, and I'm happy to talk about it in more detail.
I know we're kind of closing up the capital, how does that sit? Because did you plan in the capital plan at all in this? Where does that sit?
I'm trying to. No, I haven't. Well,
We have no capital stabilization.
Right.
So no funds there. So the only place that would come from is if we're lucky enough to have enough free cash.
I haven't contemplated adding projects to sort of the debt schedule. I just, whatever's known is known, and it would be up to the capital committee to, if they're willing to, add to the debt load.
Which we have an appointed person to, maybe next meeting.
Okay, so yeah, I think we need to adjourn both meetings now.
Dawn, do you want to join your joint portion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous?
6:53 for you, I'll take a motion.
Oh, hold on, I think we need to do two things before we actually.
Adjourn the
Oh,
joint.
I'm adjourning the joint.
Oh, okay, got it.
Take a motion to adjourn the joint with finance.
I, Valerie Goodrich, make a motion to adjourn the joint meeting with finance.
Veronica Cal second.
At 6:53.
Sorry.
Okay, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Okay, now
Thank you, you guys.
So I think we'll need to just do two things before we adjourn into executive. 6.5, payroll and bills warrants. Could you make that motion, Valerie?
Yep, I, Valerie Goodrich, move that we review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
Is there a
Veronica
second?
Cal second.
No discussion, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye.
Okay, so and I
I
think,
would also like to say that anything else that has not been addressed, which is 5.3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess a 9. I really did want to get 9 done. And 6.1, 6.2, 6.3 to, at this point, December 2nd, unless I call another meeting prior to. Do I have a motion? Or a second?
So moved.
Second.
Name?
Valerie Goodrich, so moved.
Veronica Cal second.
Okay, hearing no discussion, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. 6.4, our next meeting at this point in time is December 2nd at 6 p.m., subject to change. Okay. We will be adjourning to executive session at 7.1, executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A, 2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, town administrator. I, Laura Schifrin, make a motion to enter into executive session at 6:56 p.m. and adjourn from executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A, 2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel and contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Town administrator, do I have a second?
Veronica Cal, second.
Okay, roll call. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. At 6:56 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, TCAM.
The recording has stopped.
Okay, so now we have.
Okay. Looks like we just had a couple people join in, and I'm going to be, the select board meeting is over. So I'm going to be ending this live stream in a moment, and then I'm going to be shutting it down. I'm going to be coming back up. I'm going to start another live stream once I get set up. The Conservation Commission is going to be starting their meeting in about 4 minutes, so I'm probably going to get in there late because it's going to take me a minute to set up, but I'm going to, and it'll be on a different stream for Zoom. So, all right, so I'm going to leave. And if you just watch my channel, you can come back in a few moments. And for those of you that have just logged on, and I will see you on the other side. Thanks for watching.